Good afternoon from the Superbook.com sports desk. I'm Joe Hunk. The Titans have made a hire. They are hiring Falcons college scouting director Anthony Robinson to be the assistant GM. No, this is not a repeat or he's not replacing anybody. This is the second person that has been hired as the assistant general manager. Anthony Robinson is going to be overseeing scouting for the Tennessee Titans, while Chad Brinker, who is also the assistant general manager, will oversee football operations. And Vanderbilt is traveling to Tuscaloosa to take on Alabama tonight. You can watch that game on ESPNU at 7 o'clock, and it's going to be kind of fun. Brad Bohannon has been fired as Alabama's baseball coach after rumors are circulating about a suspicious bet that has went on for the Alabama-LSU game last week. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Vols, the flagship station for your Tennessee Titans, as well as home to 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone.
HL 104.5 The Zone. Brett Doherty with you on a Thursday afternoon in the Music City. Beautiful day. Hope you're having a great day. Don Davenport on assignment. We've got photographic evidence.
Yes, we do.
Ron Slay is here.
I'm in the building.
And from Nashville, Tennessee at 6
What made you feel like game time today, huh?
Power forward.
First one I saw.
Ron Slay.
We got to put this one on reserve because what's the name?
Y'all better buckle up because this guy ain't got no
Smiley kept on playing this one.
Oh, no, did he really?
Yep.
No, we're going to need some come football season that are themed. Like, we need a Titans game day one.
Yup.
We already have a Tennessee Vols one.
We got to switch that one up, though. That one get too long, and they got the players that are gone.
So, yeah, no, we need some updates before August.
I'm going in the lab with Gordy B and get us something together. Gordy B, you listening?
Go in the lab.
Mm-hmm. With a pen and a pad, trying to get this label off. Little Dr. Jerry right there for everybody. Hello, everyone.
I love it. Absolutely.
I had something to tell you, too, yo, and the people.
I'm going through 90s rap in my car now. Yesterday was Tupac, All Eyes on Me.
Yeah, I heard you pull up jam.
Record.
Call that slapping. You pulled up slapping.
Is that what I was doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's why the weather. That's how you know the weather nice when you start. And I don't think, do a lot of people still ride around with their windows down with the music all the way up?
I do.
No, but all the way up.
I mean, you heard it. It was pretty loud.
Yeah, but I think yours can go way louder than that. First of all.
Well, but you were in your car with the door closed too.
That is true.
Had the sunroof open too.
Yeah.
Boston Celtics 121, 76ers 87. We talked about that yesterday, minus the 8.5.
Mm-hmm. Went on, ran through it, man. Boston came out, and Jason Tatum didn't even have to do nothing. That's what's crazy. Jaylen Brown came out focused. Parsley hurt, but I think we're going to see something similar tonight with Golden State.
Yeah, didn't you go Cubs yesterday?
Yeah,
they lost.
I know. And Edmonton, they come out, man. The Edmonton Oilers, dog, come out.
I love it when you start betting hockey and you get so pissed at NHL teams.
Dude, they got it, man. They play in Vegas. We had Todd Furman on talking about it yesterday. He's saying, and I knew it was a trick when he hollered out, hey, man, they'll be lucky if they get the first one then, but you still going to bet on Edmonton to win the series.
But what did he say yesterday? He goes, I don't have a strong opinion, a slight lean, but.
He did. He did, but it hurt my heart because I went in on them and everybody handled business. The under hit on the Celtics and the Sixers game.
Yeah.
New Jersey and Carolina. Carolina handled them, and all we needed was Edmonton to win money line. They come back tied up 3-3 going in the third period, and all of a sudden, as soon as they tied up, they let Las Vegas score back-to-back goals. Not in the power play, just regular.
One guy had 4.
Yeah. I mean, he balled for Edmonton, but
he balled.
Yeah, but
he pucked.
Yeah, he pucked. Yeah, he not balled. Be
careful.
He pucked.
Careful.
Yeah, you right.
He be pucking.
Yeah, you got
You'll need to be careful.
Still be careful. Yeah, man, that hurt
to
my heart
or something. Just stay away from that word.
I'm gonna get it back right today, though, y'all. We going in today.
Wait, did you not go listen to me with the Braves?
No, yes, no.
You did
we
put
won.
Braves on there?
Yeah,
Okay,
that
I'm about to say, making sure.
I did 5 teams, though. That was a problem.
Okay, making sure, because I saw that score and I went, man, I'm glad I told Slade they was going to win.
Me too, boy. They slaughtered them. They jumped out. They was up, 5-1 or something in the second or third?
And Kyle Wright got pulled early because of a shoulder issue.
So y'all better listen to Pot Slate, baby. We got everybody in on
I
it.
love how excited you are. Let me ask you a question about Philly real quick.
What up?
Are they confused on who to run the offense through, Embiid or Harden?
See, this is the problem.
They looked disjointed yesterday.
Man, this is the problem. When you get a force like you have in Embiid and you try to get him back into the fold of playing, you take the speed of the game that you were playing with to get the win against Boston, with Tobias getting about 15 shots. Maxey can get 20 shots. Harden can play as free as he wants to. Melton can come off the bench and shoot when he wants to. P.J. Tucker even gets some shots. The problem is it slows down because you got to wait on the big fella. Like, he is not your average 7-footer. He can move, and he can get the ball in different spots, but you still got to wait on him. It ain't no kicking the ball up ahead, and he's an MVP. And it's not like he's in the position of Jokic where out in Denver where he gets the rebound and he can push it up every time and they initiate the offense through him. It's different. They have a star guard in James Harden and one in Tyrese Maxey where they get the ball and they push it up, and then the offense is initiated. So it's only right that he gets touches. And in order to get touches, that means you got to slow down. And then when you slow down, Boston's doing a good job of sending double teams, delayed double teams. So it slows everything down as far as the process of getting the ball out to get shots up. They shot a lot of threes in that first game. They didn't get to do that in the second game. Boston took that method, got up at the court. They shot 50-something three-pointers. They only shot 26 in the first game.
Yeah.
So Boston came out and game plans. But that's what it is. That's what we talk about. In the series, game to game is strategy. So now we got to see what Doc does when they go to Philly.
Brent Doherty, Ron Slay, producer Joe Hunk.
Sup? Going on 3-hour sleep, guys. It's going to be fun.
That's my boy back here. That's my boy then. It's hot in here today, too.
What is the point of going to sleep at 10 p.m. when you're just going to wake up at 2 and never go back to sleep?
Listen, I get no sleep for no reason. So, congratulations.
I mean, seriously.
All right.
Y'all need human turtle shells.
You can watch the show live, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook Live, and Twitch.
Twitch, please.
Zoltan says, hey, Slay, wanted to let you know I called him. New HVAC from Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
Hey!
Taylor and Dakota just left.
Taylor gonna take care of you. Dakota gonna take care. See, Taylor came out to mine, man. So shout out to. I bet they brought a mat. They didn't dirty up your floor or nothing. I know them.
You love that part of it.
I do, man, because that tripped me out. I've never seen people show up with a mat their own. Like, I already had a mat out there.
Yeah.
Just cover my mat over their mat.
Well, it's about to get really hot because spring don't last long here.
Yeah.
So you need to call those guys.
Cool off.
SpringHillAC.com is the website. We got a lot to get to. Brandon Alley coming up at 3:20 with S2 Cognition.com is their website. But we're gonna find out about this cognitive test that is sweeping the NFL world.
Yeah, we got we ain't just got a guy that's just out there on the grounds, trying to get things done. We got a co-founder coming in.
There you go. Greg Cosell at 4:20 to roll through his evaluation of the Titans draft class. Dick Jerardi, BetOnline.ag will get you the Kentucky Derby winners at 4:45, and Ramon Foster, Big Savagery at 5.
In the building.
Other NBA bits of news while we're doing that right now. Babs would be rolling her eyes at us. 8 o'clock on ESPN tonight. Lakers at Warriors. Warriors a 7-point favorite to get back on track. And if history serves itself, Anthony Davis will not have a big game tonight.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be one of those statistical games outside of the scoring that he's going to affect the game. So if you're getting your parlays and stuff together, you might want to pay attention to that. I think they want the second one, but I expect Golden State to come out like gangbusters, just like Boston did. And Curry to go bananas, Clay to really go bananas, Poole to pick up where he left off.
I think they might run them tonight.
Yeah, I do too.
The Lakers look like a tired team anyway.
Oh, gassed.
So since they got game one, you said this in the Memphis series.
Yep.
When they went to Memphis on game 5, they don't need it. So
no.
It's funny how you play those games. It's different in a 7-game series.
Especially when you got vets.
And you get that road win.
And you caught a team that was coming off of a game 7 where they had to exert a whole lot of energy in Golden State. Y'all had 4 days rest. They didn't. Now, let's see what happens here. LeBron and AD look super gassed, though. They got to carry a whole lot of a load. So I do think they got to pick the games when they're going to get them. Going to be a good game, though. First half, anyway.
It'll be fun. I enjoy watching those two guys on the same floor.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like you don't know what's going to happen.
Yep. 615-737-1045 is always the number. At 3HL1045 on Twitter. Kentucky Derby coming up this weekend. Have you ever been?
I haven't, man.
I haven't either.
So I had an opportunity to go when I was younger, but why did I pass on it? I can't remember why I passed. I think I was gonna miss the party the night before or the night after or something, and I said, you know what, I ain't even going. But I should have went because after I heard like it's a who's who of who that goes there. Like
who?
It's yeah, him too.
Bunch of owls.
All of them.
There's a friend of mine. Her dad used to be the Hillsborough High School principal, Bob Lawson.
Mm-hmm.
He said that he went to the Kentucky Derby when Secretariat won.
Really?
But he was in the infield. And he goes, I saw Secretariat's tail one time. And that's
how fast they going?
Well, it's just in the infield is like Mardi Gras.
Oh, really?
Oh. From what I hear, I haven't been.
See,
Wild.
Mm-hmm. A little mosh pit of partiness.
Yes. What is going on with Alabama baseball? We're going to have to get into this. They fired their coach. Remember yesterday we told you that.
Got a little nice chuckle out of them.
Makes me happy.
Well, I know because you're an Auburn and a Tennessee fan. So, you double down on Alabama.
Plus, out of all places,
the first one.
It's Ohio that says, you know what? That game between Bama and LSU was sketchy.
Yeah,
it's Ohio.
So they canceled betting in Ohio on Alabama baseball for the rest of the season. Their coach, Brad Bohannon, was fired today.
That's wild.
5 days after suspicious wagering was detected on the Crimson Tide's game at LSU. The school announced that, this from ESPN, the school announced that athletic director Greg Byrne has, quote, initiated the termination process for Bohannon, among other things, violating the standards, duties, and responsibilities expected of university employees. The alleged suspicious activity took place Friday at the sports park at the Great American Ballpark in Cleveland, according to the Ohio Casino Control Commission.
That's a lot of people.
2 bets. The investigation is centered on 2 bets on the Tigers to win from the same unidentified customer. Man, this is...
How can you be unidentified?
Well, maybe they're just not identifying them.
Okay.
And just a few minutes ago, New Jersey also said that they're no longer taking bets on Alabama baseball.
Wow, Bama's on the ban.
There's no reason. Pete Thamel says there's no reason to. He was told there's no reason to believe any student athletes are involved.
Just the coaches.
But if the coach was fired, does that mean he was throwing a game?
Well, and that's what you got to think, because it all revolves around the fact that there was like their ace pitching, and then about an hour before game time, he was pulled. And then these bets started coming in, and people are trying to put 2 and 2 together like something happened. But the man was terminated like 3 hours ago.
My guess is those 2 bets came before the pitcher was pulled.
Maybe so.
And then the pitcher was pulled. And then you're like, what did you know?
Hey, man.
Inside trading.
Dog, he down there texting. Hey, I'm about to pull him. Hurry up and get your bet in. Like, ooh, that's tough.
That is tough.
Ooh.
All right, let's talk about this S2 test with Brandon Alley. That's coming up next. Stay tuned. 3HL 1045 The Zone.
What's up, good people? Ron Slay here. Let's get straight into it. You see me walking around. Matter of fact, I was just going to get lunch, man, and somebody said, "What's up, Big Slay?" Slim Slay. And I was like, but hey, at the same time, I was like, that's what's up, man, because I did slim on up, and I appreciate that. It's like a pat on the back, a verbal pat on the back, and I did that all with Awaken 180 weight loss. You need to dive into this program, too. It's an at-home program. You don't have to get online and start following anything or wait for injections or your pills or any of that to arrive. No, sir. No, ma'am. You got to dive into it because you eat every 2 to 4 hours. That's first and foremost. So it's not like you're cutting out and you're starving yourself. None of that. That's not how I got here. You worried about the cost? Don't worry about that. Invest in something that you love, and that's you. Do a great investment on yourself. I'm telling you, a lifetime of benefits come behind it. Reserve your Awaken 180 at-home consultation today by calling 844-346-1800. 844-346-1800 online at awaken180weightloss.com.
If you have some credit card debt and maybe you're looking to be credit card debt free in, 10 days, save about $1,000 a month, Loan Pronto, that's who you need to call, 499-5780. Their all new Express Equity line of credit program is exactly what you need. And here's how it works. You don't have to do a full home refi. Maybe you are super happy with your rate and know you're not going to get that rate again. Well, guess what? Loan Pronto has it to where you can just hop into a portion of the equity you have in your home and enjoy a super low monthly payment in that. Loan Pronto's Express Equity Credit Line closes in 7 to 10 days. A $50,000 loan is only going to cost you around $400 a month. So you can pay off those high interest credit cards, do a home improvement project, and save yourself a bunch of money. Stop the madness. Say no to ridiculous 24% interest fees from credit card companies and call Loan Pronto to help you out. 615-499-5780. Go visit them online at loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
3HL 1045 The Zone. Brett Doherty, Ron Slay with you. Dawn Davenport on assignment. She may or may not be back tomorrow. Do we know? She was coming back tomorrow, but then I was like, why do you take Thursday off and then come back for Friday? Why not just take a 4-day weekend?
She
said, okay.
Yeah, she so did.
She's scheduled to come back.
Hunk doesn't want her to come back.
No, I know. I do want her to come back.
Doesn't want her to miss.
Yes.
I'm with Hunk.
The show's better when all three of us are here.
Exactly.
Yes.
We're going to hold it up, though.
Hunk ain't got to fill in spots and on reads and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Look at you going behind the curtain.
Yeah, that's my guy.
All right. You guys have heard a lot about S2 with regard to this NFL draft, maybe before this NFL draft. But the man, Brandon Alley, co-founder, chief marketing officer, Tennessee guy, right?
Mm-hmm. It is a fall.
We're going to find out how this all happened and why and everything about it. Brandon, what's up? How are you, man?
How's it going, man? Thanks for having me on.
How did this idea come about, S2? Let's start there.
Yeah. So as you alluded to, I was an athlete at Tennessee in the early '90s, back in the heyday. Go Vols!
Yeah.
And
I was there, at that time, but I did not become a neuroscientist.
Well, it's an interesting story. That wasn't the plan, right? So I ran a little bit post-collegiately, stayed in the Knoxville area, and ended up with an Achilles injury, and really looked around and asked the question, how can I put off real life as long as possible? And that turned out to be a PhD. So it said 7 years. I said, sign me up. I'll do school for a little bit longer. And so I got a PhD in cognitive neuropsychology and cognitive neuroscience. And the way S2 actually came about is really interesting. My business partner, Scott Wiley, was a almost similar situation. He was a college baseball player at Point Loma University in San Diego, and he tore his rotator cuff. And he got a PhD in cognitive neuroscience. And we had different areas of expertise. So my area of expertise is the visual system. So how we engage in our visual environment, how we track things in our visual environment, how we lay down visual representations for later use. And I was working in the neurology and neurosurgery department at Vanderbilt. When I met Scott, he came a year later than I did in 2011, and he specialized in motor control. So how we start, stop, switch, redirect our motor system. Well, being college athletes and both having boys that were playing travel baseball at the time, it was easy to dork out after work, just like, okay, so what does the brain have to do to hit 95 miles an hour? Like, really, what does it have to do? And then it kind of morphed into taking it more seriously. Like, hey, you know what? They're using terms like plays faster than his foot speed, or has a nose for the ball, or eyes in the back of his head. And it's like, you know what? We measure this kind of stuff in the lab all the time. And for those hardcore Tennessee deep knowledge fans, may remember Tommy Moffitt was the strength and conditioning coach back in the day. And Tommy was my strength and conditioning coach, and he was at LSU at the time when Scott and I started talking about this. And so I picked up the phone and called Tommy, and we went down to LSU, and that was in 2013, and the rest is kind of history from there. We jumped from Vanderbilt in 2016 and started doing this full time. And that's kind of how where we are today.
So how did it take off? To where, like, I mean, literally every day you couldn't go on the internet with seeing something about S2.
Yeah, that's the wildest part of this whole thing, right? Is this is our 8th NFL draft. I mean, we've been doing the NFL draft for a core group of teams. We initially started with one team in every division. And then last year we moved to 2 teams in every division. So they retained some exclusive rights to the data. And so it was kind of kept secret. And I think just given, you guys know, every year there's leaks and data and stuff that comes out to bring a guy up a board or knock a guy down the board. And we just found ourselves in the crosshairs this year, which really sort of made people say, like, what the heck is this? Like, why are people, talking about this? And we don't know, other than we got pulled into the media this year, and for better or for worse, it's put us under the microscope a little bit.
So do players reach out to you guys to do the test, or do agents do it, or do teams do it? Like, how does that process work?
Yeah, so I think I can talk a little bit about that. So when you're going through the NFL draft process, every year you know there's a chance you go to an all-star game like the Senior Bowl, East-West game, Hula Bowl, things like that. Also the Combine, right? And so we are one of maybe 30 groups that interact with players in the pre-draft process. So these players know that they're getting into this kind of stuff. It may be personality testing. It may be IQ testing. S2 is part of that process. They do physical scans. And so it used to be pre-COVID, we were just built into the Combine schedule. So their first day there, they would go to medical from 8 till noon and do their physicals and MRIs and everything. And then they would have lunch, and then they would come to us from like 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. Things have changed a little bit after COVID. They changed for player experience. And so we generally get about 850 players every year at the All-Star games, or we go to venues like pro days and 30 visits at teams' facilities and things like that. And so the only people, I think this is another misconception, the only people that have access to the data are the 15 NFL teams we work with. So the athletes never see their scores, the agents never see their scores, the other 17 teams never see their scores. I think a little bit of that will change this year, after this year, and I think players deserve a right to know how they did, and so we're working through where that happy medium is, giving players feedback and giving our team still exclusive, aspects of the data.
Now, Brandon, does that carry over also to the college athletic standpoint from it? Like, do they only get to the universities get to review it? Because I see you have quite a few universities as well signed up.
Yeah, no, so it's interesting, Ron. So we got into this really to help players, to help understand how they're wired. It's not just one score. And we do 9 different sports, so it's not just football. But as an example, in football, we give a battery of 9 different cognitive skills, all of which every athlete in the world has a pattern of strengths and weaknesses.
Right.
And knowing what those strengths and weaknesses are can give you a little bit of clarity on which situations you'll succeed in and which situations you'll struggle in. As an example, for a defensive back, there's a very clear profile of how a brain is wired to play on a really tight 1-versus-1 press coverage. My assignment is right in front of me. I've got to mimic his movements. I've got to focus just on this guy versus the defensive back that drops back and has to see the whole field. He's got to see a running back coming out of the backfield, a tight end and a slot coming across the middle, all of those sorts of things. Those athletes are wired differently. Right. And so we work with colleges to understand how those athletes are wired. And that was out in front of it, yes. The university athletes, we sit down with them and go over their profiles and tell them, what their areas of strengths are, what they can be working on, and we work with their coaching staff. This was just kind of drug into the pro ranks because obviously they saw the value on the scouting piece.
Yeah, without question. You got to go deeper dive if you can get a heads up on something.
Yeah, Brandon Alley, co-founder, chief marketing officer, S2Cognition.com is the website. You can check him out on Twitter at S2_breakthrough. Such interesting stuff. So the whole CJ Stroud thing started to go like wildfire. How did you guys hear about that? And I'm sure there was probably a meeting in-house about how to handle that.
You want to know the real story, how I heard that? I woke up at about 5:30 a.m. that morning to about 6 text messages from 6 different general managers that were not pleased that scores were out in the media. And so it did. And part of that story, guys, and I'm sure that you know some of that, was that it was clearly leaked for strategic reasons. Yeah. And 2 of the 8 scores on that list were not accurate. Mm-hmm. And I think that it was all about a particular narrative that was wanting to be told by either a team or an agent or something. So, legally, we are bound to not discuss or talk about specific scores, so we couldn't go out and say anything specific. But We obviously went from our typical draft mode where we're in draft meetings for a couple hours every day with our teams to just damage control mode, and really trying to, obviously that started the whole thing of like, what is S2? And, we started getting lumped into like, you guys test IQ. And no, we don't test IQ.
Yeah.
You guys do this. No, we don't do this, why don't you just give everybody all the scores? Just those kinds of questions that it's like, okay, I'm going to put my head to the wall if I don't, at least try to answer some of these things.
I could feel when I reached out to you, Brandon, you up against it, man. Like, this ain't the time, Slay, but you were real nice about it, man. I appreciate it.
Let me go on the radio real quick while this is going on.
This ain't it.
I'll do anything for Evolve for Life. But man, that 2 weeks, I was not happy.
Yeah. So you go on and you take it a step further. What are some of the things that you would like to see the S2, the next step being taken? Like you are you're under the microscope. What's the next step for S2?
Yeah, I think, it's always been a big vision of ours. And obviously we needed, the first step of this was getting, is the product validated?
Mm-hmm.
Are pro teams, scouts, coaches, front offices, analytics groups, are they seeing the relationships that we're seeing? Like we feel confident that players have to do this. What's the correlation to on-field metrics?
Right.
Once we started getting that validation, we also started to get this halo effect. Like, oh, they work with NFL teams, they work with college teams. I mean, our dream is really to help build better athletes, and that starts young, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you've got an opportunity to build yourself, especially when your brain is still developing, so in that 12 to 18-year-old group, it's a wide variance of folks. It's folks that, hey, I want to play at the D1 level, and folks that are, hey, man, I just want to get a hit, in my next at-bat. I just want to be the best rec ball player and contribute to my team as possible. And I think part of that starts with knowing who you are as an athlete, knowing how you're wired, and so that you can lean into those strengths and you can have some confidence in your play. And then you can also begin to develop your weaknesses. And as an example of that, right, is like hitters who swing at sliders in the dirt or pitches out of the zone. There can be multiple reasons why we do that. The athlete may not actually be able to visually process what pitch it is. That's one type of thing, and you would want to work on that very specifically. Or the other type of athlete can see it very well. They just can't control their motor system. So even though they know it's going to be a slider in the dirt, it's 0-2, this kid's throwing me a slider. When it looks fat coming out of the hand and halfway through the trajectory, they just can't inhibit that motor impulse to swing. So you're going to train that athlete very differently than the athlete who can't visually process. So being able to work with young athletes and help them out in that way, I think, is our real goal.
So real quick before your goals, have you guys considered working with kids with disabilities too, with motor skill disabilities? Because that's like everything you describing, as like if you take the ACT over and over and over since you're 11 years old, by the time you get 19, you're going to pass it regardless. So,
right.
Have y'all even thought about anything like that? Because that's pretty dope what you're explaining, man.
Yeah, so a lot of what we do, Ron, and I think that this is some of the misconception or the demystification of what we do, is really we're asking athletes to respond in the time scales that you have to respond in your game. So a lot of what we call decisions aren't really decisions. You are reacting in less than half a second. You're reacting in less than a second. So for all of our measures, and we specifically chose those measures, are not biased by things like educational attainment, IQ, social economic background. You could take this 100 times. We've actually done a lot of test, retest, reliability stuff, especially with our pro baseball players who are in the minor leagues for 7 years, and they may take it 7 years in a row. You may get a little bit better by having exposure to this, but we're truly just capturing how your brain is wired.
Right.
And oftentimes it is things that you are responding to in less than half a second. You don't have time. Just like on the basketball court, right? If you've got a no-look pass and you've got to respond You've got to execute the pass, the catching the pass, and then turning to the goal. All of that happens without reasoning, without thinking. It's just reacting. And so those are the skills we're trying to capture. And those skills by nature are how your brain is wired and not really dependent on how well-read you are, how studied you are, academic type stuff. I mean, to be quite transparent about the S2, we have seen so many kids who just don't get it done in the classroom, and that could be for a variety of reasons.
Right.
One, they're just not in the school.
Could have a learning disability,
Right. That's exactly right. But they will crush this, right?
Yeah.
Because it is the game. It's the quick visual processing and the quick reactions and decision making you have to do on the floor, on the court, on the ice, on the field. So we've tried to take those kinds of things out of it.
Gotcha.
I mean, this is absolutely fascinating. I'm glad you came on to give the kind of the background, because you just start to see like these, tweets with score numbers and stuff, and you're like, okay, well, what is it? Because I always thought the Wonderlic was a simplistic test, and obviously there was space in that world for something far more in depth, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that was sort of the. That was hard for us because they are lumping, they're making a judgment. They're with no context. They have no idea what we do off of one number. And we literally sit in draft rooms for hours explaining how each pattern of results affects play. And as an example of that is, so you've got a quarterback that you think or that scored at the 90th percentile overall, and that number gets leaked. Well, one of the tests we give, we call is tracking capacity, and it's been given for decades in the science literature. It's how many moving objects can you keep track in your visual field at once, right? So you could have a 90 overall, but let's say you've got a 10 on tracking capacity. Well, as a quarterback, if your scheme is set up that you need your cue to read from sideline to sideline and track where DBs are and your receivers are to make a judgment on a throw, that one sort of that one score can be detrimental to a quarterback with a 90 overall. Right. So just saying, this kid scored 90, he's going to be great. That doesn't work that way. And I mean, you guys know this all the time. I'm sure you talk about it all the time. This is a piece of the puzzle, right? So when let's talk about an edge rusher. If you've got Myles Garrett, who is 6'6", can run 4.4, can vertical 42 inches, doesn't matter how many objects he can track, right? He's going to run you over or run by you. Yeah. Doesn't matter. This kind of stuff doesn't matter. It's just one piece of the puzzle. If you've got a safety or a quarterback who's heavily reliant on processing visual information to decide what he's going to do, this is much more critical.
Yeah, like a Blaine Bishop who works with us. Like the stories he tells about the work that he did cognitively, it just fascinate me. And that's a guy that didn't have the measurables of like a first-round pick, but was an all-pro and all those things.
Blaine is a phenomenal example, and Blaine has taken this before. We've worked with Blaine a little bit a few years ago, and that is a prime example of an athlete. And you can watch the tape and say, like, we're not like trying to supplant scouts. You can watch the tape on Blaine Bishop, and there is a guy who was 2 steps ahead all of the time.
Yeah.
Because he was able to stitch together patterns, right? He was able to, we call it anticipation. But really, Blaine was a guy who can really pick up on, okay, every time the receiver started with his left foot, he ran the slant. But when he started with his right foot, he ran some other route. So when he starts with his left foot, I'm going to jump the route. Right? He's just stitching together those things very early on, and he's able to really process visual information really quickly. So, that's a prime example of where this becomes important. But let's say you're an SEC quarterback and you've got a 99 on the S2. Well, if you're 5'8" and run a 5.2 40 and can only throw 35 yards, doesn't matter what your S2
is. Yeah.
Right?
Got that. Hey, so you guys have a lab here. I know for sure, man. Me and Coach Mack and us, we would love to come in there and take the test, man, or just watch it be administered If we ever
Bring
get
the heat, Ron.
Yeah, you see, I put you under the gun right here in front of everybody, right?
Bring the heat, Ron. We do have a lab here in Nashville. It's actually in Brentwood, right off
Beautiful.
Old Hickory Boulevard, and we evaluate everybody from youth baseball teams in the area, soccer teams, volleyball teams, to we got Kirk Cousins called us and said, "Hey man, I'd love to take this." So, it spans the gamut, and yeah, we enjoy that.
I love it, man. Thank you, Brandon. Fascinating information, and can't wait to learn more. And we'll come see you.
Great, man. Thanks for
Appreciate it,
having me
brother.
on. Really
Go
appreciate
Vols,
the time,
baby.
guys. Yep, absolutely.
So, Brandon Alley, co-founder, chief marketing officer, S2Cognition.com if you want to check them out online at S2_breakthrough. When we come back, ML football with a Titans first-round pick, Peter Skoronsky's story about something Arthur Smith said to him at the Combine, the Falcons coach. It's coming up next, 3HL 104.5 The Zone. Gupton Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Time to get in that Jeep, man. And they've got a great selection of Jeeps. One of the biggest Jeep sellers in the country is Gupton Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram right here in Middle Tennessee, Springfield, Tennessee to be exact. About 30 minutes from downtown Nashville. 3450 Tom Austin Highway is the address. And you need to go see Daniel Gupton, all the guys. Whether you're looking for a car, truck, SUV, or Jeep, new or pre-owned, these are your guys. You can check out the entire inventory online. GuptonMotors.com is the website. All of the inventory is there. As I said, the dealership info is there as well. That's GuptonMotors.com. 24 West to exit 35. Straight shot into the best vehicle buying experience you'll ever have. They're not going to put any pressure on you because they simply want what you want, you in the vehicle that's right for you. I've bought multiple vehicles from these guys. They're awesome people, and they are ready to help you out. So go take your test drive. Go inside. They'll help make the numbers work, and it'll be that easy. GuptonMotors.com. That's Gupton Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram.
Yes. What's happening, people? Superbook. I told you when the show started on 3HL. Yeah, we missed up on one game, Edmonton versus Vegas. Missed up the parlay, but the good thing about Superbook is it's going day in and day out. So we get another day to redeem ourselves today. So you need to stay glued to Zone TV. And if you're listening on your radio, make sure when you get home, you put it on Zone TV on your phone, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Twitch, please. Anybody. Okay, thanks.
Twitch, please.
There it is. So listen now, in order to do this and take advantage of it for the parlay, you got to download the Superbook Sports app and visit superbook.com to wager and win today. If you do that, then you can take advantage of all the trusted, dedicated odds makers behind the counter in Las Vegas setting all of their prices, along with the prices I'm going to set. Well, I ain't setting the prices, but the winnings I'm going to get you. And it's live right here in Tennessee, so take advantage of it. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. Book it.
Hunk, what are you doing with the DOC, bro?
I figure it's got to do something.
All right, just let this roll for a second. Listen to that bass line. Are you kidding me right now? Joint.
Zigzags.
There's people in the chat talking about like, oh, I found a mushroom.
Way to go, Mario.
Yeah, I heard that's a good movie.
It's an amazing movie.
I've been planting shrubs today thinking about them 2 zigzags. Somebody said about the S2 cognition thing. That was fascinating stuff for me. I don't know about y'all, but like that was super interesting because you tend to just see numbers out there, like scores, and you really don't know how they get those numbers. And I don't know. The Wonder League always seemed like a simplistic cognition test, like personality, intelligence test, IQ test. But this is in depth, dude, especially like positionally.
Right.
That's how deep in they go.
And I love it because like
That's so cool.
he showed us what it was. Like it allows you as a coach, as a GM, whoever you are, to know exactly where your player stands and why they cannot. So it's up to you not to put them in those certain situations if you understand just exactly how they tick and how they're wired. I love that. I wish that would have been out when I was getting ready for it, the draft, because that's what you want stuff like that. Because like he said, it's going to help players. I would love for that to help me. Like I may not have shown good in this, but you give it a second chance because of the S2 test. You're like, oh man,
well, so
you can't come with it.
The NBA, they don't call it the combine. Don't call it a comeback. They don't call it the combine. They call it the pre-draft camp or whatever. And you went through that.
Yep.
So do they ask you like questions? Do you meet with teams? Do they ask you weird things?
Yeah, so I can't remember verbatim what they asked, but I do know they ask questions. I think, like I told you, one with the Bulls that I went through. Minnesota, I can't remember what the questions they asked.
What was the Bulls one? I forget.
The Bulls one was if I was if I was a rookie and the veteran was lacking, and he continuously did that would I ever say something to him about it. So they asked more questions like that, how you would relate. They kind of, for the most part, let the play do the talking for you. But I do think when you start to talk about guys with certain athleticism that may not test off the scales, this is a good test to show you exactly. Because I always felt that I'm not going to blow you away with the vert and the speed and everything, but you give me 9 other guys out there with 3 referees.
Yep.
And it's a totally different me. You know what I'm saying? I may not even look that great in pickup, but you put me in a game setting, it's different.
So that's why it's interesting too, because like some guys don't test well, and that's true for like education too. Like some people just don't test well.
It is,
but like you're saying in a sport, like put me in a game situation. It's like Jerry Rice ran a 4.5.
Right?
You ever seen anybody catch him?
No, exactly.
I mean, come on.
Exactly. No, that's what it's about right there, man. So,
well, it's funny too. Like you use that Bulls example. It's almost like they're trying to put you in a position where you are trying to answer how you think they want you to answer, as opposed to what you really think.
Yep.
And what they really want is what you really think.
Yep. Exactly.
So Pro Football Talk, Titans rookie first-round pick Peter Skoronski says that at a combine interview with Falcons head coach Arthur Smith told him, quote, "You're really boring me. Your answers are so boring," end quote. How do you respond to that? Okay, Coach.
Coach Arthur Smith told who this? Skoronski,
yeah.
That your answers are really boring me?
Yeah, we had him on the show, and he was great.
Guess what, though? I will say this. I listened to him this morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, and listening to him again, like he's a football guy. You know what I'm saying? Like
So you could see him in a meeting with a coach just being kind of
like
flatline.
Like, man, let's go play some football.
Yeah.
Like listen, you know what I mean? It's in him. It's in him to play football. Like he knows the ins and outs of it. You got to put him on the field, man. You got to put him. He's not. I can see him not wowing you in meetings if you're just trying to find out about him. Like you go to pizza parlors. You know what I mean?
He's a violent player.
Exactly.
Just put the tape.
Give me that. Give me that all day long. I'm with that. Give me the production.
You're boring.
Yeah, give me the production over the personality. I don't care what your personality is. Give me the production.
Oh, man. All City says Big Ski.
That's right, Big Ski. You better know it.
Slay gave him a new nickname in the Boom Boom Room, Big Ski.
Mm-hmm.
He also says boring players are winners.
Hey, guess what? I always say, man, if it's working and it's boring, continue to get bored.
Go maul people.
Yeah, it's cool.
Go attack that bear.
I think we got yeah. No, don't attack it, Bell. Be careful with that. Let Greg do that. Greg from Wildlife. We got a line on your
Greg from Wild.
Wasn't that his name they called him?
Yes.
Yeah,
from Wild.
Talking about the actual guy that knows everything about bears and was listening to us in Columbia.
We were getting into what you do when you see a black bear kind of stuff.
That's my partner right there.
Apparently,
Greg.
Dylan Brooks cries.
Or I guess put out of buildings.
You're not back under any circumstance.
That's amazing.
See, that's what the grizzly bear will tell you.
It's so you ain't making it back out of this. Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
We got a liner.
That's right, we do.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Presented by?
Oh, the liners are presented by your mom and them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your mom and them present multiple things.
They
now.
are.
They're getting a little powerful. I don't know what's going on.
Business is booming.
It is booming. What you got for us, huh?
I will go with today.
Okay, this looks okay. It's a little vibrant hip shaker feel. Come on. Steeplechase people.
Oh.
Here we go, Mom and them. Join 104.5. This is zone for the 82nd running of the Iroquois Steeplechase presented by Bank of America on Saturday, May 13th at Percy Warner Park. Make tailgating a breeze by purchasing tickets to join us inside the all-inclusive Champions Corner thanks to Uncle Buzz and Old Charlie's. For more info or to purchase tickets, visit 1045thezone.com. Mom and them, thank you.
They're welcome.
They're all welcome. Y'all got a day coming up.
Hey. Want to tell you about my friends at Brentwood Jewelry. You got Mother's Day coming up. You need to rely on the Amamali family at Brentwood Jewelry to help you make that Mother's Day selection and make Mother's Day great. 7012 Church Street, located in the heart of Brentwood, just off Franklin Road. BrentwoodJewelry.com is the website. Also, graduation. Time to celebrate. 2023 graduation's right around the corner, so celebrate them with a memorable piece from Brentwood Jewelry. From a premier timepiece to a custom ring, necklace, or earrings, Brentwood Jewelry can help you find the perfect piece to commemorate this special time. Maybe you have a family heirloom that's precious to you. You want to customize that for your graduate. You can do it. The team at Brentwood Jewelry can transform that special piece into a beautiful piece that they will wear every day that is as unique as your graduate. Spring, also the time for the perfect proposal. Brentwood Jewelry here to help you pop the question. Let them help you take stress out of selecting the perfect engagement ring. Brentwood Jewelry in the heart of Brentwood, 7012 Church Street, just off Franklin Road. Exceptional style, exceptional deals every day for more than 50 years. Shop local, BrentwoodJewelry.com.
Are you maybe looking for something to do as a family or something exciting that you want to consistently go and watch? How about season tickets for your Nashville Predators 2023-2024 season tickets? They're on sale right now. And guess what? The Preds are going to be celebrating their 25th anniversary throughout this entire season. Full, half, quarter season plans are available. So maybe you don't want the full, but don't worry, they'll take care of you and you can figure out what a quarter season plan looks like. Join the Loyal Legion today and you will get the best seat locations at the best prices, up to 50% off discounts on concessions throughout the season. You could get up to 6 bonus tickets to select games in the season and then priority access to the NHL draft and awards hosted by the Nashville Predators. Exclusive season ticket citizen gifts throughout this season. Go check it out. NashvillePredators.com/season tickets. It's always such a good time in that arena. Go support the home barn and become a season ticket Loyal Legion member today. NashvillePredators.com/season tickets.
Good afternoon from the Superbook.com sports desk. I'm Joe Hunk. The Titans have made a new hire in the front office as they are hiring the Falcons' college scouting director Anthony Robinson as an assistant general manager to Rand Carthon. This is the second person that has been hired under assistant general manager, the other being Chad Brinker. Now, Chad Brinker is going to be overseeing football operations, while Robinson's job is going to be to oversee scouting. Earlier today, Brad Bohannon was fired as Alabama's baseball coach because of all the rumors circulating around some betting that was done in the state of Ohio. Alabama has named pitching coach Jason Jackson as its interim head coach. Why does this matter? Vanderbilt starts a 3-game series tonight in Tuscaloosa against the Crimson Tide. You can watch it at 7 p.m. on ESPNU. For all your foundation repair waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Vols, the flagship station for your Tennessee Titans, as well as home to 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone.
HVAC 104.5, the Zone 4 o'clock hour is upon us. Great job on the liner.
Thank you.
It's getting tons of attention.
That was a good beat by Hunk.
Internationally.
Yeah, they trying to be. I know they were trying to get me over there at BMI just a minute ago. I said, nah, I'm over here, man. I ain't got time for that. That's a different world.
Brent Torty Ronsley with you. He is in the building, by the way.
I'm in the building. I'm in the building.
Hey, I'm in the
Hunk.
building. I'm in the building. I'm in the building. I'm in the
days.
building.
Hey, you're back.
I'm in the building. I'm in the building.
Mortimer, we're back. Y'all better pay attention to this Parks later tonight because we're hitting the night, fellas.
I heard Ramon, Kayla, and Will talking about the Iroquois steeplechase this morning, and it sounded like Ramon and Kayla may be going. Did I hear that correctly?
So the steeplechase?
Yeah, and that Will was trying to figure it out.
I don't know. I ain't hit up.
Ramon
wouldn't
was
doubt
saying
it.
he wanted to be like in his own deal like Buck, and I'm like, that's what the Zone's thing is they have a VIP tent thing.
Do they?
Yeah.
Wasn't it warm out there or something last time?
I mean, I don't know.
When is it?
What date is it, Slay?
They've seen all kinds
You
of
just
weather.
talked about it.
I know. Oh, it's May 13th.
Yeah, it's going to be a little warm.
Oh, yeah.
Probably be in about the 80s. It's not going to be too bad.
And you got to dress up, huh?
No, you don't have to. But, I mean, 90% of the people will.
It's kind of like Kayla's event the other night.
Oh, no.
No.
It's
no.
casual.
No,
It's
dude.
just, it's not.
You know I can't get out, don't you?
This is like this is like Nashville's biggest social event.
Is it?
Yeah, there's like hats and dresses.
You got to come dapper.
Oh, so
Yeah.
SEC Network, Slay. That's who we need.
Ooh, that might be too much.
No, not like, yeah, that's too much.
Man, I might need to be somewhere smack dead in the middle.
Sweatpants and a dress shirt.
I mean, you can wear what you want.
Loose tie?
When I went, I wore jeans and like a Zone pullover. So, I mean.
Oh,
whatever.
really?
Yeah.
Come on, Yori.
I'm just saying there are going to be dapper people out there.
I'm at the search on that one.
So it is coming up on the 13th. Currently 84 the high, 45% chance of rain.
Can I give a shout out?
Yeah, in just a second.
Okay, go ahead.
There was one year where it got all muddy and everything. And,
See?
And like these girls are out there in these sundresses and boots and stuff. And there was a viral video that, I mean, just swept the world, where these two girls got in a fight. And they're sliding around in the mud and everything. And so it was,
Mud wrestling.
I think it was pink dress against white dress. And we had both of them on the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Were they calm when you had them on the show after?
Yeah, they were still they were still kind of mad at it. But yeah, I think
Why'd it start?
you can find the video.
What's the name of it?
Steeplechase
Fight.
fight? I don't know.
Cat fight. Hey, man, I watched Wedding Crashers last night, boy. You
See?
talking about hilarious?
Did you ever watch the game?
I need to. I watched something that I never saw, Domestic Disturbance. Chris had me watching that, so.
Yeah, that's good.
So, yeah. Oh, fight scene.
Yeah, Outkick has the I mean, Clay Travis went nuts on this. They have the director's cut on Outkick.com.
Oh, wow. Oh, you put it in Google. I went to YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, that is 2013.
Yeah, okay. So this is the 10-year anniversary.
Show is. Oh, I think you did let me watch this before.
I let you watch it?
Yeah.
Free countries. Like
Well, it is funny to see people fried fight. Because the punches and slaps come in such slow motion. The falls come in slow motion. Everything's like
And
slow.
there's guys trying to break it up
Yeah.
a little bit.
It's like
And
enough
then
is
guys
enough.
start going at it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
It's
something.
weird. It's weird. Look, slurred fights.
I wish he would do a play-by-play.
Oh, I could. But we had to
Trying to-
put it up on the screen.
I'm trying to find.
Boom! I'm talking about a quick right hand, get back out of there. That was cool, pink dress. See, then they try to carry white dress off. White dress, no, I had enough of it. I've had enough. Then
Hunk, you wanna tweet this out?
pink dress throws hands up in the air, go pick up her bill, and then boom! She gets clubbed from behind. Hey, man, ain't nothing right with this. Ain't nothing right with this, y'all. Tell y'all, be peaceful, but this is hilarious. I'll just tell y'all that. People standing around drinking like this is.
I mean, they're
this is
catching
what
the
we
show.
I ain't mad at them. Look, Metro.
All right,
Metro,
Tupac.
there go my boys.
Got
They
nothing but
came
love
through and
for you.
said, shut it down.
Oh,
We ain't
Metro
come
came
out.
in there.
We ain't out here to do this. Pink and white dress is 10-year anniversary. Y'all going? We need to know. Can y'all call in? Are y'all going together to
Who
celebrate?
won the fight, do you think?
Oh, pink dress stayed standing.
Okay, well.
She could have been knocked out on her feet, but clearly the able to slap and slide came into. So her S2 test probably would be high.
There's a line in the movie Dazed and Confused where they have a party out by the tower. But anyway, it reminds me of this. This guy goes, all I did was come here to drink beer and kick some ass, and I'm all out of beer.
So we got one thing left.
And I think
That's
that's
Pink
probably
Dress.
what Pink Dress's idea was.
I think she found one at the end of the fight though. She just picked
found
up
a beer?
a random beer and just like, hey, I'm in it.
Handle business and
Guzzle this. And,
not
like,
to be in a cop car.
yeah, shout out to pink dress and white dress.
All right. Yeah, reach out. That was 10 years ago.
Yeah, 2013.
Boy, we had fun with that one. All right, here's more on the Skoronski thing.
Okay.
So this actually
Big ski.
comes from Dan Pompey from The Athletic. And he talked with Peter Skoronski, Titans first-round pick. Quote, the head coach was on me the second I got there, Skoronski said of Atlanta Falcons coach Arthur Smith. I was giving them generic answers to their questions, and he said, you're really boring me right now. Your answers are so boring. The whole meeting, he kept looking at his computer. I was kind of laughing to myself and said, sorry, I don't know what you want me to do. I'm answering you honestly.
As he may want to fabricate a story here and there. They like entertainment too.
So do you think that you said during the break maybe Arthur Smith did that on purpose to try to rile him up and see what happened, and it probably didn't get to him.
No. And that's why I'm saying, like, this is a football guy. Like, let's go play football. I don't see a question. Where the pads and the helmet at? Let's get busy.
615-737-1045. Buffalo and Westmoreland joins us now. Buffalo, what's up?
Hey, I just want to give a shout out to Nashville SC. They're playing Saturday night. All the things you got to do at Nashville this weekend.
Yeah, Taylor Swift. What were they saying, like 500,000 people downtown for that?
I got a list.
Is that Saturday night?
I think it's
Nah,
Friday.
she 3 shows.
Yeah, 3 shows.
You know Taylor ain't gonna miss.
And Janet Jackson?
Yeah, Janet's tonight.
Okay, so that'll be done.
Yeah, she kicked the weekend off.
Man, I love her.
Caterpillar Financial hooked me up with box seats. They gave me 6 box seats up there in the club with the free steak and the food and
Ooh.
parking pass. I buy a lot from Caterpillar. I buy a bunch of Bobcats and stuff, but Caterpillar Financial hooked me up twice this year with free tickets. So what I did was my season tickets, I just gave them away to a concrete truck driver, and he's going to take his kids. If you haven't been to a game at Nashville SC, if you haven't been to a game, man, it is absolutely fun.
It's
Just
fun.
take
They got great food options too.
It is a blast. Also, my regularly Tuesday appointment with Brian Carper out there in Percy Priest, we're still slaying the hell out of
The
crappie.
Yeah.
They've done dumped
The
their
crappies.
eggs, and they're hungry now. So
They've dumped their eggs and they're hungry.
So make sure you don't get an
Yes,
egg.
sir. And the bass are about. A lot of the bass have already dumped their eggs, but a bunch of them are about to dump their eggs, and they will be hungry too. So we got a good month and a half, 2 months of fishing ready to go.
Yeah. Let's go, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good night.
You too, Buffalo. Appreciate the call, brother. It's so much going on this weekend, man. Taylor Swift, Tennessee Craft Fair, Nashville Soccer, Sevier Park Festival, Cinco de Mayo. So much stuff going on at Nashville Super Speedway. Supposed to be a combined 464,274 people arrived May 5th through the 7th. Woo!
Sounds good to me.
Woo girls gonna be out
Woo
here.
girls gonna be out there.
They got one right there. Hop on, hop off, 2 all day.
There they go. All right, Greg Cosell coming up next. He's going to break down the Titans draft class. Let's do it. 3HL 104.5 The Zone.
What's going on, people? I'm telling you right now, do not let this heat get to you. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. You came out of March if you missed the special. You went into April if you missed the special. Now we are in May, right before it starts getting heated and you can't stand it. You need to dial in to Spring Hill Heating and Cooling because they do not let you down. Family owned and operated company. Now, I'm telling you right now, this is from experience. Kevin, listen, he opened the doors back in 2011. Wow, having this family. To now, his daughter's running the office, his son and son-in-law running on-site technicians. Everybody's involved. It's always a family member, one phone call away, and that's what they do. They give you that type of response anytime you hit them up. It's time to tune up things. Also, schedule your 21-point tune-up for only $49. Now, if you missed all them specials the last 2 months, don't you miss this, because I don't want to hear y'all calling into the station talking about, man, my heater, my air, I don't got all the windows up and it's still hot. I don't care. SpringHillAC.com. They are the heating and cooling company that can take care of all your HVAC needs. SpringHillAC.com. Call them.
3HL 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty, Ron Slay. Coming up tomorrow on The Big Show.
On The Big Show.
President and CEO of the Titans, Burke Nihill, at 3:20.
What's that guy?
We're going to talk about new stadium and AstroTurf.
Yeah.
They don't call it AstroTurf anymore, but
I wanted to Burke get them, since everything got approved, did he get them to put that room in there for me?
you need the cigar room for you and Rand Carthon.
Yep. Yeah. I need to know. Burke will tell me. He probably tell me off air though.
Wouldn't it be funny? Like one of the elements to the new stadium was this like really dark room, like field level, like with lamps.
Yes.
And like a fireplace.
Yeah. And a glass you can see through.
And leather chairs.
And they can't see in.
With an ottoman.
That's beautiful.
And y'all just watch the game, drink some bourbon or tequila or something.
That's beautiful. And make it soundproof. So if I click a switch, then I can hear everything in the arena, in the stadium. But if I turn it back off, everything goes boom, mute.
Got a story about Toronto Blue Jays when they opened their new stadium. They put a hotel in it.
Did they?
Yeah, and something wild happened.
Uh-oh. That'll be interesting.
Remind me to tell you about that later.
Sounds good.
All right, Greg Cosell joins us now as he does every Thursday at 4:20. Cosell, what's up? How are you?
Brent, what's happening, my man?
Did you enjoy consuming this year's draft?
Yeah, I always enjoy the draft. You know, it's fun. I especially like it because, you know, I see a lot of guys, obviously, so I can't see them all. There's too many. But I like to see, besides the obvious, where a lot of guys get drafted. So I enjoy it.
All right. I'm always befuddled by something following the draft.
Befuddled?
Yeah,
there's a word you don't hear too often.
I don't know what's gotten into me, Cosell, but I've been doing that lately. I don't know. But this is what befuddles me after the draft. Draft grades. Like I don't even know how you do that.
That's all fun and games, Brent. That's that's like mock drafts. It's all from the same school. You know, it's all just fun and games for fans.
I get it. Well, let's dive in, Cosell, because we've talked about all these guys pre-draft, but some of them. But I want to get your take again and just kind of revisit. Peter Skoronski at 11 was kind of surprised that he fell there, but a lot of people I know that the Titans were exceptionally happy that he was there and are happy with that pick. Played left tackle, may end up inside. Let's kind of revisit what you think about Skoronski.
Yeah, I would assume if everything worked out the way they wanted it to, I would assume he'd play inside because, you know, they did sign Andre Dillard. And he was a first-round pick at one point. I would think that they would want him to be their left tackle. But I guess we'll see how it plays out. Skoronski is a really good prospect. I mean, you're dealing with a guy that is he's just an outstanding technician. He understands angles. He understands leverage in the run game. His footwork, balance, and hand usage and pass protection is really good. He's one of those guys that's assignment sound and execution efficient, and that constantly shows up on every play. I mean, he's just a really good football player. Personally, I think he'd be better off inside. His arm length is what concerns a lot of people at tackle because it's only 32 1/4, and that is viewed as extremely short for an outside tackle position. I think he could step right in and be an all-pro guard from day one.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I'd rather go by what you do as opposed to what you say sometimes. And them bringing Dillard in and giving him $13 million guaranteed and $29 million for 3 years kind of tells me they were looking at Skoronski inside. But we'll see. And Pat Fitzgerald, we had Pat Fitzgerald on the show, Northwestern coach who coached him, and he said if he's not an all-pro offensive tackle, he'll be an all-pro guard.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a really good player, and I think he's one of those guys that is a foundational piece of an offensive line, and he'll be a starter from day one. But the Dillard thing is really the key thing because, I didn't realize what the money was, but the point is he's a tackle, and you don't sign him to have him sit on the bench unless you go through your whole OTAs in camp and he can't play. But if he can play, he's going to be your left tackle.
Boy, that's a tough deal if that happens.
Please no.
They've had a run of luck on offensive line. All right, so you want to ask about the quarterback?
Well, might as well. I mean, he was the second one taken. So Will Levis coming out of Kentucky. What do you think, Greg?
Oh, did they draft a quarterback?
Yeah, buddy. Some would say.
I think Will Levis started to get a raw deal as this process went along. Now, I'm not saying that because none of us have any idea what he's going to be, other than what the tape shows and how I see that projecting and transitioning to the league. Beyond that, everything is purely speculation.
Right.
He did play for his 2 years at Kentucky in an NFL offense. Amazingly enough, he actually went in the huddle, called plays. You don't see that very often in college football. Went to the line of scrimmage with, at times, 2 plays where he could check, he could kill, the things you see when you watch the NFL. So he's done all those kinds of things. I thought that he would fit best in an offense. This is exactly what I thought when I watched him and finished watching him, that featured conventional play action with more defined reads and throws, and less full field progression reads that demand higher level processing traits. And with coaching and development, he'll get there. But that's kind of what this offense is. As long as Derrick Henry is there, that's what this offense is. Whether he plays this year, that remains to be seen. But you're dealing with a guy that has a lot of traits. I mean, he's a compact, twitchy, effortless thrower. He can attack all 3 levels. He's seen a lot. He understands a lot in terms of NFL route concepts and combinations. It's a good move in the second round for sure. They wanted a quarterback, and I thought they did the right thing.
How different is that for guys now in college? And when did that start happening for guys to get to the huddle and call the plays and be able to walk up and kill it as a quarterback?
That rarely happens in college football.
Okay.
It only happened with Levis at Kentucky because in 2021, Liam Cohen was his offensive coordinator. He had come from the Rams, went back to the Rams last year, and I believe is now back at Kentucky. And then this past year was Rich Scarangello, who had also come from the NFL. So that's the reason. But mostly in college football, as you guys know, quarterbacks don't huddle. They stand at the line of scrimmage. It doesn't mean they're playing fast. There's all different kinds of no huddle. Some schools play fast. Chip Kelly plays fast. But a lot of schools, most schools, the quarterback just stands at the line of scrimmage, looks to the sideline, gets the play. It's not necessarily fast tempo, but they don't huddle. They don't call plays in a huddle.
Greg Cosell with us on 3HL. If I remember correctly, so you're right about like the 2 different tapes, right? Like, so 2 years ago, I remember in the offseason after that season, you were really impressed with Will Levis.
Yeah, I thought he played really well in 2021. It was very, very efficient. In 2022, for any number of reasons, first of all, their O-line was not very good at all.
Yeah.
He was under duress a lot. They had lost, I think, 3 or 4 guys to the NFL draft.
Yep.
And they only had 1 returning starter, and it was not very good. And quite frankly, that's an area Levis needs to improve. He needs to get much better in contested pockets. He needs to get better with his pocket movement. These are areas he needs to improve. He's not a perfect prospect, but in 2022, it was a struggle. It seemed like every game was a struggle.
Yeah. Word around the campfire is he had a nasty foot injury all last year, too.
Well, that's true, too.
Yeah.
And he probably shouldn't have played some games. I think he missed 1 or 2, and he probably should have missed more.
All right, Tyjae Spears, the running back out of Tulane, 5'10", 201, very productive. The last 8 games, he went over 100 yards, 1269 in his last 8 games for 8.4 yards per carry and 13 touchdowns, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield.
Yeah, I really like Tyjae Spears. I liked him a lot when I watched his tape. I think he's got patience and what I always call a desirable combination of patience and decisiveness, which you need in the zone run game, because you need to wait for things to develop and then hit the gap that opens. He's got explosive short area bursts. He's got accelerating long speed. He's kind of a glider and a darter. He's got loose hips. He's a really, really good receiver. The way I see him, certainly early in his career, is think about Jerick McKinnon, what he did for the Chiefs in 2022. Mm-hmm. Really good receiver. At times ran the football. I think that early in his career, he's a rotational type player. I think depending on the team, and we don't know where this team is going in the future, but I think depending on the team and the scheme, he could be what I would call a primary back, not a foundation back. Derrick Henry's a foundation back, but there are teams like the Bengals that have 3 wide receivers and a great quarterback, where the back is you can have a primary back, but he's not going to carry 20 times a game.
Right.
You know, I think Spears, I think down the road could become that kind of player.
Well, and you bring up an interesting point because a lot of teams are going to that, right? Like the multiplayer backfield. And it's interesting that they go Tyjae Spears in the 3rd round, considering they took Haskins last year. Maybe they are moving toward that post Derrick Henry deal.
And they're different players. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, those
right?
two guys would probably work well together because they're different kinds of backs. You know, but I really like Spears a lot. I mean, I thought his tape was really, really impressive.
I love that.
The tight end from Cincinnati, Josh Wiley, 6'7", 248 pounds, 4.69 40, 15 touchdowns his last 3 years. What do you think about him?
Yeah, Josh Wiley's a really interesting guy because he came out of Cincinnati in high school. He's from Cincinnati itself, and he could have gone anywhere, and he chose to stay home. So you're dealing with a guy that has size, he has length, he's got good athletic movement. You know, he's not tight ends you would never describe tight ends for the most part, with very, very few exceptions, as sudden or explosive or twitchy just because they're bigger. But he's got size, he's got stride length. The stride length allows him to be a 3-level dimension. He can stretch the seam, he can run vertically. He actually is a pretty good blocker. I made it a point to watch. It's funny. He blocked mostly for a free agent who the Titans signed, Charles McClellan, who's also from Cincinnati. So he mostly blocked for him. The more I watched Wiley, the more I thought of kind of 2 NFL tight ends. One was Tyler Higbee, who came out of Western Kentucky as a 4th-round pick and has had a nice career. And the other is Dan Arnold, who just actually signed today with the Philadelphia Eagles. What could separate Wiley is he's a committed and competitive run blocker who's probably a little better at run blocking than both those guys. But Wiley's a really intriguing pick because I think there's something there. I mean, this guy could turn out to be a quality tight end in this league.
Do you think he could do multiple things like H-back, fullback, stuff like that, and play well off of Chig?
Yeah, I mean, he's different than Chig because Chig's a little more explosive athlete.
Yeah.
Like I could see those two guys being a really nice tight end combination.
I like that, boy. Dual set tight ends. You don't know what you're going with. That the predictability, you're able to take a little bit of that away. I think that'll help the Titans going down the stretch. But another lineman taken, Jalen Duncan. What do you know about him, Greg?
Yeah, Jalen Duncan he's a really interesting guy. Jalen Duncan was a big time recruit. He came out of a big time powerhouse school in Maryland called St. Francis Academy. He was a top 50 prospect in the country when he came out. He's played a lot of football. He was a 40-year starter, 39 starts, I believe 38 of them at left tackle. He's kind of an enigma. The reason he was drafted where he was, Slay, is because he has great traits, but he has issues. And so he doesn't play to those traits because of his issues. He checks all the physical and athletic boxes for a prototypical left tackle with his size, his length. He's an easy mover, but he has way too many bad reps in pass protection. You know, he's a classic guy that he's late with his hands and he's wide with his hands. So you know what that means, Slay? Guys get into his chest.
Right.
And you can't pass protect when guys are in your chest. You know, you could weigh 900 pounds, and if guys are in your chest, you're going to be pushed back. So he needs technique work. My guess is an O-line coach would say, hey, we can fix that. You don't know that for sure, but it's technique stuff. But you may have a diamond in the rough. The guy has physical and athletic traits, and his arm length is pretty good. He just has too many problems in terms of technique and pass protection.
I was going to say that too, Greg. Was that just learned, or did that look like it came from he just didn't know?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure he knows. But look, Slay, you know this. You can teach guys anything in a classroom, on a practice field.
Yep.
But sometimes, when you're playing in a live game, no matter what the sport, sometimes it just doesn't take.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, Jalen Duncan's interesting in that, like, in that mock draft world you were talking about earlier. He was a day 2 guy.
Because he's got, that's exactly right, Brent. Because he's got, like I said, he checks all the physical and athletic boxes, and he has a ton of experience. He's played a lot of football. So, you see him play. I mean, you're not guessing.
Yeah.
Colton Dow, the 7th round pick, a pretty cool story just locally because he's from here.
Yep.
He grew up a Titans fan in Lebanon at Wilson Central, wide receiver from UT Martin. He's got some measurables to him, Greg. 6'3",
He sure
215, and he had good tape against Tennessee.
I watched the tape against Tennessee and Boise State, the two schools he played that you would, view as higher level schools. And let me tell you something, he ran by corners for both those teams. I mean, he ran by a Tennessee corner, Deshaun Rucker. I think he was a starter this year, first-year starter for Tennessee on the outside. He shows great ball tracking ability. He was kind of a fun watch. He's got really good size. He's almost 6'3". His pro day 40 was 4'4". I mean, obviously he's a small school guy and he's a 7th round pick. So I'm not going to sit here and say, wow, this guy's special,
Right.
but when you run 4'4" and you're 6'3", 212, and you do run by corners, for the University of Tennessee, I'm very curious to see how this plays out. It's a team that needs receivers, as we know, as you know. I'm sure a lot of fans talk about that quite a bit. They were probably disappointed they didn't draft one earlier. He's a little tight-hipped. He's a little linear in his movement. He's kind of straight line, but he's got straight line speed. So I'd be curious as this plays out whether he has a chance because they need receivers.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff, man. Really appreciate the breakdown.
Yeah,
man.
ran straight through that.
Phenomenal. At Greg Cosell, must follow if you like football. And if you're listening to us, you like football. So
And Cosell will be down here real soon, too.
yeah, May 20th.
2 weeks. 2 weeks from
2
today,
weeks,
man.
baby.
I'll be there.
Okay. All right. Sound good to us.
That's the Install, the podcast live taping of the Install with Buck Rising and Greg Cosell over at the Hutton Hotel on May 20th. Tickets, 1045thezone.com. Thank you, Greg.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Cosell.
Man, that's crazy good stuff. There's more coming out on this whole Alabama baseball coach being fired thing. And if you haven't seen the story, the state of Ohio suspended betting on Alabama baseball the rest of the season because of some suspicious activity from Friday in their game against LSU. The Alabama baseball coach was fired this morning, and now he is linked to the suspicious bets, sources tell ESPN. We'll read through that here in a second. Stay tuned. 3HL 1045 The Zone. Worry-free Wi-Fi. There's no better way to connect. Only Xfinity helps keep your devices safe and secure from cyber threats at home and on the go. Have peace of mind doing everything you love online with unlimited data. Only Xfinity will upgrade your gateway after 3 years at no extra cost for a better, more reliable connection for your home. Enjoy wall-to-wall Wi-Fi coverage throughout your home with an Xfi pod included if recommended. I have that, as a matter of fact. Requires Xfinity Internet with Xfi complete and compatible Xfinity Lease Gateway. Advanced security requires activation through the Xfinity app. Tech upgrade limited to Xfinity Internet customers with X5 Complete and Xfinity X5 Gateway equipment. Upgrade after 3 years. To get started, call 1-800-XFINITY. Visit Xfinity.com or drop into an Xfinity store today for more details. 3HL 104.5 The Zone. Brett Doherty, Ron Slay with you. Going to talk a little horse racing activity right now as the Kentucky Derby is coming up on Saturday. Dick Jerardi, BetOnline.ag, joins us now. Dick, what's up? How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. How about you?
We're doing great, man. Looking forward to the race coming up on Saturday. In general terms, what do you think about this field?
Good, not great. I don't
Okay.
know if there's any superstars in it, but yeah, solid field.
Why, and no superstars in it because of the names, no superstar names, or just because of the horse?
No superstar performers. And up
Gotcha.
to this point, right? Sometimes we get surprised. Some horse blows up on Derby Day, and then you go, now he's happening. But yeah, I mean, look, the favorite is Forte, should be most accomplished horse in the race. Won 5 in a row, 2-year-old champ. He's won 4 Grade 1 races, top of the line in horse racing. The other 19 horses combined have won 2. So, yeah, he's the one that's done the most coming into the race, for sure.
What about Tappet Trice? I kind of like that one.
He's okay. Yeah, won the Bluegrass at Keeneland, right down the road from Louisville, down in Lexington, right in the middle of horse country. Todd Pletcher trains Tappet Trice, also trains Forte. Also has the Louisiana Derby winner. Very strong hand for one of the top trainers in the sport.
Beautiful.
Tell us about Todd Pletcher, if you would.
So, Todd's horses have won more money than any trainer in thoroughbred racing history. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame a couple of years ago. If there's a big race, he's won it, and usually multiple times. Now, the Derby, it's interesting. He started 62 horses in the Derby, more than anybody. He's only won 2. Now, that doesn't sound great, but let's put that in perspective. He's only been in 22 Derbies. Like, he's had 5 horses in a Derby, and obviously he can't win with more than 1 horse. So I look at it, he's like 2 for 22, which isn't a terrible percentage in that race with 20 horses. And he's only had the favorite 1 time, Always Dreaming in 2017, and he won. So Forte is going to be Todd's second ever favorite in the Derby.
So a newbie like me to horse betting, like what would be something fun that I could get involved in and kind of go swift and fast, but I can have a little fun, won't be too upset about losing a little money.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you 2 horses. I'm gonna give you the 3-2 Phils, who's probably gonna be 15 to 1. So I want you to bet him to win, and you're really gonna have some fun with the 7 Reincarnate. He probably could be 40 to 1. Bet him too, and you may get a thrill. It might be a cheap thrill because I think there's a chance he's going to be in front early, and at least at that point you can tell everybody, hey, I had the horse that was in front in the Derby. Now I can't he's going to be in front at the end, but he could be in front for a while.
So no Bob Baffert this year. Is this the last year for him there?
This is it. Once this Derby ends, his suspension at Churchill Downs tracks is over, and he can already run at any other track. He just can't run at Churchill track. So, yeah, his Derby suspension is over as of Saturday evening.
For those that don't remember, that was 2021, right?
That's
Medina
correct.
Spirit. Yeah. Can you refresh in people that may not remember about that story?
Sure. So Baffert, Medina Spirit, Baffert trained, won the Derby, or finished first in the Derby in 2021, and it gave Baffert a record 7 Kentucky Derbies. Well, about a week later, when all the testing came back, Medina Spirit tested positive for an anti-inflammatory called betamethasone. It's not a performance enhancer. It's not something that made the horse run faster. And horses they use it as therapeutics. It'd be like us, we take anti-inflammatories. Mm-hmm. Horses sometimes will get a little sore. So they use that for their training, and it's legal to use in training. It can't be in a horse's system on race day. Oh. And it turned out, and it's a little confusing as to how it got there. It could have been an ointment that had nothing to do with it. Yeah. But anyway, he tested positive, and under the rules in Kentucky, you can't have it in your system. So he eventually was disqualified. And Churchill Downs was so upset with Baffert that beyond the 90-day suspension he got from the Kentucky Racing Commission, they barred him for 2 years. I don't have a problem with the suspension by the Racing Commission. I thought the 2 years was a bit of an overreaction because this is not a performance enhancer, but he'd had a number of positives at Churchill in recent years. And I just think the track said, you know what, we're not dealing with this anymore. You're out of here. Wow. That's what happened. But the good news is for people that followed Baffert's career, the suspension ends on Saturday.
Dick Jerardi, BetOnline.ag. That's fascinating stuff. Like, how do you know if a horse is sore?
Yeah, so here's what happens pre-race, in every race, but more scrutiny in a race like the Derby, right? There'll be vets that will look at these horses and they'll make them jog, they'll walk, they'll do a number of things so they make sure they're sound.
Okay.
Now, I'm not good enough to tell you the difference, but the vets are.
Yeah.
And what the concern is with this particular medication, not that it's going to help the horse run faster, but potentially it could mask some infirmity, and they do not want a horse going to the post who's got an anti-inflammatory that maybe is making his leg feel a little better than it really should, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah. So who's more important, the trainer or the jockey?
The trainer is absolutely more important. The trainer is it's there's really no sports analogy here. The best one is the horse is the player. Right? I mean, the horse is most important.
He's the athlete.
And then the trainer is the coach. So we got the player and the coach. The jockey, there's really no analogy for the jockey in sports. And there just really isn't. Because the jockey only is with the horse during the race. The jockey isn't with the horse all day long like the trainer is. Basically jockeys, it's called horse racing for a reason. It's about how fast the horse is. Jockeys often can mess it up, but no jockey's going to make a slow horse run fast. What jockeys need to do, if they're on a fast horse, just don't mess it up. Stay out of the way. Give your horse a chance to win.
Dick, I may have told you this story before. Dick Jerardi, BetOnline.ag. I was at Keeneland one time, just a random race day, and I'd never been before, and I bet on a horse because I recognized the jockey's name, who was Pat Day. And he fell off on the first turn. He fell off the horse on the first turn. So I might have been a few beers in. I got super excited because the horse just immediately went to the front, ran around the track, and won the race. And I'm going crazy. And I go to the ticket window, and they're looking at me like I'm an idiot. Like, dude, the jockey has to finish on the horse for you to win. And my argument was, and they didn't take it, but my argument was, and it still is, it was more impressive that horse won that race without the jockey. It's like a NASCAR, going around the track without a driver.
Yeah, the least they could have done was give you your money back at least. They're not going to pay you, but that's one of the rules. The horses are supposed to carry a certain amount of weight, and they're all supposed to carry similar weight. So, obviously horses run faster without any weight on their back than they do with weight on their back.
It's probably true.
I was impressed that the horse knew where to go. I mean, anything could have happened, man. They could have jumped the fence and gone down the interstate.
Yeah, it's a bunch of left turns. Yeah, every once in a while there have been horses that end up on interstates. That has happened.
Is there a horse that is a big underdog that you think might be able to make some noise?
Yeah, I mean, Reincarnate is the one. I didn't give him that just so you can have some laughs. I think that there's a chance.
Okay.
Not a great chance, but if he gets out there by himself, he would be my best long shot in the race.
Okay.
And Two Phils, who I like the most, he's probably going to be 15-1,
right,
which is not a bad price. But yeah, this thing is nuts, and we have 2 scratches late. The 10 horse is out, and now the 19 is out. So 21 Cyclone Mischief is in the race, and 22 Mandarin Hero. So, and then tomorrow morning is the last chance. There's one other horse waiting to see if he can get in. If one other horse scratches.
Interesting stuff, man. Great job, Dick. Really appreciate the time. Dick Jerardi, BetOnline.ag. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Mint juleps, man.
All right. I got 3 Reincarnate.
Yeah, and 2 Phils.
And 2 Phils.
2 Phils are better than 1.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Got dad jokes here. All right, 5 o'clock hour coming up. Phone lines are open. We're open the first segment, and then Ramon Foster at 5:20. But if you want in, I didn't get to this Alabama story. Let me hit you with this one when we come back. This is really interesting stuff. That's next on 104.5 The Zone. Buddy Allen Carpet One, they are your flooring experts, and this is a local company over there in Donaldson, locally owned and operated by the Allen family for more than 55 years. Zach, Jenna, and Judson Allen are in the store every day. Free in-home measures and estimates. That's what's going to happen with them. They have in-house professional installers, not like the big box companies. Buddy Allen does not farm it out to other companies to take care of their customers. Buddy Allen takes care of you from the first interaction through post-installation. You're never handed off to an unknown or random flooring contractor or a 1-800 number. They've got you covered. 2405 Lebanon Pike in Donaldson, 615-883-3289, BuddyAllenCarpet1.com.
Good evening from the Superbook.com sports desk. I'm Joe Hunk. Titans making some moves in the front office. Anthony Robinson, if you don't know the name, he is the brand new assistant general manager for the Tennessee Titans. He was the Falcons college scouting director just a few days ago. In fact, he is the second assistant general manager, the first being Chad Brinker. Chad Brinker is going to be focusing on all the football operations for the Titans, while Robinson is going to be focusing on scouting. Now, Alabama and Vanderbilt going to be getting going at 7 o'clock down in Tuscaloosa on ESPNU. Who's not going to be there? That would be Brad Bohannon, as he was just fired a few hours ago as Alabama's head baseball coach. Why? You'll find out in just a second on 3HL. For all your foundation repair waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Vols, the flagship station for your Tennessee Titans, as well as home to 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone.
HVAC 104.5 The Zone. Thursday. It's Thursday, Slade. Tomorrow's Friday.
It's the best day of the week. Friday. Hey, get Friday. That's the day I love.
Titans president and CEO Burke Nihill will be in studio tomorrow at 3:20. So we'll
That's
get
gonna be
you
good.
all of the stadium information as the deal went through last week.
We ought to put up a poll or something where they can question us. Not question us.
We need to be
send us
questioned,
questions that we can ask Burke.
Yeah, question us.
We always ask some good stuff anyway, though.
Oh yeah,
Just be sure to tune in.
That'll be good. He's phenomenal.
Mhm.
Burke is phenomenal. As I mentioned, Brent Doherty, Don Davenport is on assignment.
Yeah. Her little seat look lonely over there, too. Look at her chair all turned, like she's just out of here.
Can we tell what we've been getting pictures of on our text line, or just leave it out there?
Just leave it.
Mysterious.
She's having a good time.
She's a woman of mystery.
Yes, she is.
Don Davenport.
Having a blast, though.
It's hot in the studio. The one day she's not in here, she always complains about how cold it is in the studio. It is hot today.
It is warm. I think it's like 70 something outside.
Guess who's in the hot seat? Ron Slay.
I'm in the building. I'm in the building.
Hey, I'm in the building.
My boy is back behind the glass, y'all. My boy is back behind the glass.
Your boy is producer Joe Hunt.
The key is no sleep.
He's watching the Braves and the Marlins while he produces the show.
Is that what we got? Oh,
Yeah.
you should have told me. I could have bet.
I wasn't 100% on this one. I figured if I would have told you to bet anything, I would have told you to bet the over. That's the only thing. The Braves haven't been good on go-home days.
That's easy to say now that it's 4-3.
No, it was because the Braves were starting a pitcher that had a 7.8 ERA.
Oh, okay.
I was like, oh, no, let's not go with him.
Yeah, 4-3 Braves in the 7th. They've been hot lately. They're a fun team to watch, man. Acuna hit a foul home run like 700 feet.
Yes.
It was crazy.
And Jorge Soler hit one almost as far fair, and he didn't even look at it. He swung, and then he just looked down and just started walking. A lot of bombs in this game so far.
They didn't even rip.
So I mentioned you were talking about the new stadium and how you can ask Burke about this. You need a cigar room down at field level.
And I asked him before all this got approved, so.
You think this part of the Metro Council vote?
Yeah.
Slade's got to have the cigar?
How you think it got pushed through? Burke told me yes,
So-
and I made some calls.
Hunk, do you know this story when the Toronto Blue Jays opened their new building? This was years ago. But they put a hotel in right field.
Yeah,
And-
there's the hotel's still there. You can still stay in it.
Yeah, but be careful.
Yeah.
Because it's floor-to-ceiling windows.
What's that?
Just complete
floor
glass.
to
from floor to
okay,
ceiling.
like floor and
So-
the ceiling and window.
Apparently a couple was staying there, and the game was going on, and there was a commotion in the outfield, and people started to turn around and look into one of the hotel rooms because the light had been turned on. And they were doing the deed.
Woo! Is that right?
Yeah.
And can't nobody get mad about it.
If you're not scoring at home, you're scoring at the Toronto Blue Jays hotel.
That's all right.
It's a great view, too.
I bet that was like, they got that.
Here's my question. Do you think
Both
they
directions.
even here's my question. Do you think they even cared?
I'm so glad I put the brakes on right there.
Thank you.
That was about that.
I appreciate it.
What did you almost say?
Yeah.
No, don't. Just go ahead.
I can't even frame that one.
Yeah, just go ahead.
Yeah, that was
Just move forward.
good game.
Just driving. High five.
That was good.
Yeah, who won? I don't know.
Nobody
I can't
knows.
even say America.
was a tie.
Canada won. Canada won that day.
Canada won.
Oh,
Do you think
boy.
they really even cared? Like if you're doing that with the window wide open?
Not if you turned the light on.
And-
That was welcoming. Something in the stretch. Let's stretch it out, baby. Hey man, let's get.
think they had
I'm
some
trying
oysters.
not to go there.
By the way, if I'm not here tomorrow, I just Googled when this game took place,
Yeah.
and so the words I had to use in Google may get me fired. So just letting you know, I love you guys.
I mean, what possible words could you use?
Oh boy.
Toronto Blue Jays sex.
Skydome, sex, hotel,
Oh, well, it's gonna make it two of us.
May 18th, 1990.
Boy, the thing
Turn in the night. Oh yeah, that was
it was wild in the 90s,
Yeah,
man. I'm telling
buddy.
you, boy.
Oh yeah.
People were just out there.
Oh yeah, they wasn't tripping.
All right, this Alabama story. So, for those that don't know, the Ohio Gaming Commission suspended betting. Like, you cannot bet on Alabama baseball for the rest of the season based on some suspicious activity that occurred during the Friday game against number one LSU. Alabama then fired their coach today. So now I wonder if they'll eventually open it back up. I don't know. There will have to be an investigation. Is there more people than Brad Bohannon involved in this? Here's the story that ESPN just furthered. I'll just read it for you. Alabama baseball coach Brad Bohannon was fired Thursday amid a widespread investigation into suspicious betting activity on the Crimson Tide's game against LSU 6 days ago. Check this out, y'all. Yeah, y'all, when you go into a sports book, you're being watched and closely. Listen to this. Sports book surveillance video indicated that the person who placed the bets that were suspicious, there were 2 bets that were suspicious and led to all of this, was communicating with Bohannon at the time. Multiple sources with direct information about the investigation told ESPN. That's some serious surveillance to be able to tell who you're talking to on your phone.
So how was I'm trying to figure this out. He was in the dugout.
I don't know where he was. It could have been well before the game.
Yeah.
Because
Yep,
Hunk said they
yep.
pulled their star pitcher an hour before game time. Bohannon could have given this guy that information hours in advance.
Wow, man.
So at that point, it's
I was gonna say, was he in the dugout with an earpiece in, with an AirPod in or something? hey, you know it's about to go down.
The weird part is which direction were they betting on? Because you're facing the number one team in the country, so it's not like you're going up against some POS team that you have to lose to.
Right, but if you're pitching your best pitcher, then you have a shot. If you take him out and don't you're the only guy in America that knows that pitcher's not going to pitch tonight, you immediately bet LSU if you're of fraudulent nature guy.
Man,
That's what he did. The alleged suspicious activity took place Friday at the sportsbook at the Great American Ballpark, according to the Ohio Casino Control Commission. The OCCC. Is that OCCC?
Or the OPPP.
By the way, I was going to Florida one time. We're driving through Opp, Alabama, listening to satellite radio, and OPP came on while I was in Opp, Alabama.
You should have stopped and got out and way.
Hey. Who's from Opp? Is that Chuck Person? Somebody's from Opp, Alabama.
I believe you actually may be
It
correct
might be.
on that.
You might be
Chuck
right.
Person, or Chuck and Wesley Person.
You go by Opp going down to what's the name? Don't you? Destin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
The old way.
I think it might be a sign.
There is.
Yep. I
Home
think
of
it
the
was Chuck
Rifleman.
Person. It's Chuck Person. Yep. I saw that and I was shocked.
The OCCC's, don't let me shortchange them. Their investigation is centered on 2 bets on the Tigers to win from the same unidentified customer, multiple industry sources told ESPN. A source familiar with the investigation told ESPN's Pete Thamel that there is no reason to believe any student athletes are involved.
Good job, guys.
Way to not be nefarious.
Yes. Okay. You on the roll. Like, I don't want you to stop.
I just unloaded the vocabulary.
Yes, you did.
I don't know why. I don't know how.
Nefarious.
We are.
Nefarious.
All right, Duran. This is a crazy story, y'all.
Now, that's wild, man. Like
how this can't be just the only time this has happened.
That's the key. That's the key. It makes you go back and look at games and check phone records and see how long people have been talking. Man, and you know what? I didn't think this was still going on because you always get that meeting before the season starts where the NCAA comes in. You got to watch the film about betting on games and everything, and they always think it's the players. They always make the players sit down, and the coaches. I've seen coaches step out before during this meeting and everything. Like, it ain't the players, it's the coach. Coach, what you doing? Trying to get a little side hustle going on, man. What are you doing? What you trying to buy for us? Some extra pieces? Like, what could you be trying to buy down there in Tuscaloosa? Oh, I'm trying to figure out.
Extra pizzas.
Got to be something basic. You know what I'm saying?
What a crazy story. All right, Ramon Foster coming up next. Stay tuned for Big Savagery on 104.5 The Zone.
NBA playoffs. Yes, they are here. You can turn all those crossovers into cash with FanDuel Sportsbook. All you have to do is visit FanDuel.com/Dawn right now. Place a $5 bet, and then you get an instant $150 back in bonus bets. And that's if you win or lose. No better place to bet all of the playoff action than on America's #1 sportsbook. I'll tell you why I love FanDuel. Because the app is super easy. You pull it up on your phone. All your bets are right there, easy to make, and there's even some pre-made bets if you want to just go ahead and click on those. I love the ease of FanDuel Sportsbook. Go to FanDuel.com/Dawn and sign up to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet your first $5. FanDuel is an official sports betting partner of the NBA. You do have to be 21 and older and present in Tennessee. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. Full terms. FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call or text the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
It's that time of year again when the housing market starts to heat up with rates and home prices finally coming down over what they were last year. Accurate Mortgage is predicting that competition for homes amongst buyers may be at least as fierce as it was last year, if not more. So now's the time to get pre-qualified for an Accurate Mortgage home loan so you can be one step ahead of your competition and win the house of your dreams. Accurate Mortgage has many options to help make your new mortgage more affordable, such as their payment reduction mortgage, perfect for easing into your new payment. Brandy said this about Accurate Mortgage. The Accurate Mortgage team, they are on top of everything. They check in weekly, made everything so easy. I will most definitely use them for any future home purchase. Steve McNair used to say that, most definitely. Made me think of rest in peace, 9. For more details, visit Accurate Mortgage today at AccurateMTG.com. Accurate Mortgage Group, a division of Acopia LLC, equal housing lender, NMLS number 4664. 3HL 1045 The Zone. Did we verify Chuck Person from Opp, Alabama?
He is not from Opp, according to the wiki.
Andalusia?
He's from Brantley, Alabama.
Brantley, Alabama.
I mean, right now he's just hanging out in prison, but he's in Brantley.
Who the heck is from Opp?
Somebody's from Opp.
We got Lamar Rogers is from Opp. Somebody named James Logan, Tim Jesse, and Mooski, the rapper.
Mooski?
Was James Logan a running back for the Dolphins or Patriots?
James Logan was a running back for the Houston Oilers.
Oh, the team I grew up following.
He was with the Bengals and the Oilers in '95, as well as the Seahawks, and then he was on the Seahawks until 2000.
I'm telling you, man, you can't tell me that you don't learn something new every day on this show.
I don't know who them people
He
are.
was a linebacker.
I don't know who them people. Who was from Andalusia, Alabama? Huh? Get on it. Ramon Foster, not from Andalusia,
Also,
Alabama.
before we get to Ramon, letting you know the Blue Jays lost that game.
I bet they did. Well, it was a home game for them.
Yeah, 4-3.
The game where the people were caught doing the nasty?
Yeah,
No,
lost
no,
4-3.
stretch.
At the time, they were a half game up in first place.
Slay said 7th inning stretch.
That's what they was doing. Everybody got stretched out.
Man.
Ramon,
Wild
so
out here
here's
Saturday.
here's that story. When they opened the Toronto Blue Jays building in 1990, they put a hotel in it in the outfield, in the right field seats, and it's like floor to ceiling windows. So like you can see, it's designed for you to be able to watch the game from your hotel room. Well, so, they got a little passionate in one of the rooms, this couple, and they turned the light on, and so like everybody in the right field home run seats were like turned around watching.
Well, sometimes the baseball team had a crowd. I guess they wanted one too. You call that a 2-for-1. That's all that is. That's a good old twofer.
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Hey, Ramon, there's been a lot of talk about short arms and guys can't play tackle with short arms and that they have to play inside and all these things. How important is that? Is that overblown? Like Taylor Wan told me that's overblown. What do you think about it?
Man, it could be a thing if a guy doesn't recognize that's an issue for him or that everybody knows about it. Like, that's the thing about it. Like, all the stuff that we hear and the talking heads speak about during the free agency period, that right there is all the ways for you to knock a player. That's all it is. Think about contract negotiations or where you want to get drafted. That conversation goes down to, okay, how can we position one guy above the other? And think about this. Nobody really measures basketball players' arm length. I mean, not on the shot. Like, Savage, right? Like, if you're shooting a shot, it's a matter of, okay, if I'm a shorter dude, my trajectory of the ball got to be a little bit different than the dude that's 6'9".
Yep, main
see what
thing,
I'm
just
saying?
get it off.
Just get it off. And it's funny, I was having that conversation because I was trying to look up some guys that had some good careers who had, air quotation marks, short arms, right? And it took me back to April, 2nd, 2021, from Jeff Schwartz, who's former NFL lineman too. And he's like, this whole conversation is silly because Joe Thomas, Joe Staley, Jason Peters all had short arms. All three of those dudes are future Hall of Famers.
Wow.
So again, think about all of this. We speak about 40 times, right? Only time it really matters is when we're scouting somebody. When you're on the field, that speed don't matter. I've met some slow 40 guys, let's go wide receiver, that don't look slow on the football field, but nobody brings it up until it's combine time. In the contract negotiations, nobody's ever brought, well, Ramon, I didn't like your 40 time. No, it's can you play or can you not play? That is the discussion.
That's what I love about the S2 test. We had Brandon Alley on earlier. We were talking about that. It's more about your response and what you do as far as your instincts kicking in, and that split second, what do you do to react to something, more so than them trying to chop you down, going through these combines and different things, talking about your arm length. Like, dude, I know I've been this size. Like, this didn't happen overnight. I didn't know how to sprinkle no fairy dust on me all of a sudden, and then I had to shrink like Beetlejuice. This is what it is.
No, it's not, man. Like, I was just having that conversation with a buddy of mine not too long ago, and it really boils down to, man, can this dude play ball or can he not? It's really that simple. And having Skoronski on, we had him on this morning. I know you guys had him on early in the week too. And it really seriously, y'all just break down to, man, can I trust this guy? And most importantly, what is his footwork like? Skoronski has very good footwork. He has really good hips. He has really good football IQ. And I honestly felt bad this morning bringing up the idea, hey, have you had that conversation of do you need to play guard or will you play guard, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was my conversation with him because I almost feel like we're discounting what he's actually done. The dude has 4 years of playing left tackle. He does that well. So why would we change that? Other than the fact that me being an older guy saying to a younger guy, look, they got NPF, they have Dillard. For you to get on the field, you may have to play guard. The more you can do, the longer you stay around. That's the league for a young guy in the NFL. And it's also this, the more you can do, the less you get paid. So whatever you're going to do, figure it out quick so you can be a specialist at that position, whether that be guard or tackle for him.
Well, let's stay right here with the offensive lineman. Let's talk about Jalen Duncan because you saw plenty of film on these guys when you saw him get drafted. I believe you said, man, like that could have been a steal. And we just had Cosell on. He raved about him as far as his traits and his characteristics go. What's your feelings on him, Savage?
A steal. Just simply put, that group of core players is what I like to call them. Y'all hear me say that often. And those are the guys that make your team go. Finding a guy like him as late as they did for the Titans, I thought was a lot of depth and potential starter at some capacity. The best thing about him is this to me, having the ability to know probably he's going to be on the, in the backup role for a little bit, but if he can get himself into one of those top 7 dudes on game day, he can have a long, prosperous career because that shows that he's talented enough. That shows that he has the ability to learn quick. Maryland has been putting out guys for a while now, and I'm glad to see him get his just due too because he's athletic. He moves well. He's got long arms. Okay, let me go ahead and say that. But he got some stuff he got to correct. If he can correct his change of direction a whole lot quicker to where it's more fluid, because guys will get him going out and coming in. Okay, with old okey doke real quick. But I call that being young guy. I call that, okay, watch more films, really study and break down yourself because the best thing a person can do is know yourself. The same way Skoronski does, the same way anybody else will when it comes down to you just being a long-standing veteran in the league. That, to me, was a steal for the Titans getting him.
Ramon Foster, Ramon, Kayla, Will, weekday morning 6 to 10 on 104.5 The Zone. We had Greg Cosell on today, and obviously we were talking about Skoronski, and he thinks he's going to end up inside. He thinks he's a guard. And he said, plus the Titans brought Dillard in for, $29 million for 3 years, $13 million guaranteed, and he said he's not playing inside. So
I push back just a little bit.
Okay.
Because
that's why I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, that's still good guard money. And this kid has played numerous positions on the offensive line. If Skoronski goes out, y'all, and has a really good camp, and he at left tackle, he going to start at left tackle. The thing about Dillard is this. He's a former first-rounder that didn't get his fifth-year option picked up, and he's on a second contract. At this point, for a guy like Dillard, it's a matter of sticking somewhere, finding a starting role somewhere. So if that means he has to move inside, beautiful. But what I will say is this. Rand and Vrabel and the offensive line coach name, not Austin Ford, either way, him. Mm-hmm. They have created a room full of competition.
Yeah, they have.
You hear me?
Yeah.
That in itself.
And they did it quickly.
Oh my goodness. They've created a room of competition, y'all. And that amount of not being complacent, not being settled in with how you be a pro and get paid. No, ain't no time for that no more because they really have the best 5. The 2 safest guys to me is probably NPF, and I'd even throw Brewer in there, although that tender isn't guaranteed if he gets cut early. I think Brewer and NPF will be your center and right tackle.
Yeah, and Skoronski's going to start day one, so wherever that is. Yeah, and Greg Cosell always, uses the caveat, like, maybe I'm wrong, but this is what the tape shows me, and the tape shows me that Dillard is a tackle. So, it will be interesting because you're right. I mean, they're going to put the best guy at left tackle.
Yeah, by the way, offensive line coach Jason Hoteling, my bad.
There you go.
All right, so we've had so much fun with the Will Levis pick. How active of a topic has that been on Ramon, Kayla, and Will?
Man, it's been very active. It's a topic of conversation. if I'm not mistaken, man, there's an NFL Network analyst that came out tiers in the NFL as far as starting quarterbacks, and Ryan Tannehill wasn't in it. Will Levis was actually in it. So that is one of the hottest conversations around the entire NFL when it comes down to who's going to be the starter, who's going to be the team's successor, and how they're going to go about it. I look at it like this. One, the Titans needed a quality backup. Do I think Will Levis is a quality backup? Yes. Is he young? Yes. But that's usually what quality backups are. If he pushes Ryan Tannehill to be a better quarterback this year, everybody wins, okay, including Will Levis, because that shows that, look, he can learn from a guy to know how to do the right things on the field. If Ryan Tannehill gets better, well, if they don't extend him, he makes his market hot for next year to be in a bridge role potentially, or possibly pull a Derek Carr in some sense and go sign with a franchise that need a guy that's coming off a really good year. It's a win-win to me. And if Ryan Tannehill, craps the bed, you get an early look at Will Levis.
Yeah, you will. Tajay Sharp. Tajay Spears, I'm sorry.
Tajay
Sharp.
Receiver.
Spears, not Sharp.
Yeah, who was Tajay Sharp?
Receiver for the Titans.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, he is.
Was. Okay. Tajay Spears, my bad. Speedster, guys, when you play long enough, Savage, to see guys that fight through injuries, come through with no ACLs. I think to athletes, it's more about, can you get the production out of your body? When you look at it from a front office standpoint or a fan standpoint, I think it starts to become of being highlighted of, man, look, man, he missing an ACL. You automatically think ACL, he can't get nothing done. But you saw the production last year at Tulane.
Yeah, you did. And with that being said, too, that, again, is just conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's the guys played, I think, almost double-digit games since not having an ACL.
Yeah.
Hines Ward didn't have an ACL. Frank Gore didn't have an ACL. I ain't saying Tajay Sharp is going to be Spears, going to be him. Which one? Now you done confused me. Yeah, because both sound right and both are right.
Both of them are right. Yeah. Both of them with the Titans.
Right. But either way, it's just a talking point. This kid this young man has proved that he can play with his deficiencies. Again, those deficiencies are just known knocks on the guy. It doesn't stop you from being one thing. Ron, I'm being serious now. The kid who has the one arm that's got a college scholarship.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everybody know he plays with one arm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But what has that stopped?
Nothing. Yeah.
Nothing. So miss me with all of that. My 40 time was slow. Guess what? I got 11 years in the NFL. Dudes, I've made it a point to knock them off the list that ran 4.9s, 4.7s, 5.1.
Mm-hmm.
All of that don't matter, y'all, if you playing above the line and you are an efficient pro.
Yeah.
That's why I always say, like, it's a non-factor. By the way, the guy that did that quarterback tiers was Kyle Brandt. You can find that on his social media. Tier 1 was Jalen Hurts. Tier, I think 5 was not Ryan Tannehill. It was Will Levis. Imagine that. He was tier 7.
Yeah, that's tough.
Ryan Tannehill didn't even make the list.
That's all right. Look like, well, they all, good morning, what is it, Good Morning Football, Joe Hunk tweeted out too. They always try to move ahead and just get a take. And I will say this, they do a great job, but they're also not in touch with the local markets that they talk about.
That's very true.
Very
true. But Savage, that's the conversation.
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
Like,
you talking
Mayor,
about national?
You asked me.
Yeah, yep.
You asked me earlier how much we talking about Will Levis and Ryan Tannehill. Legitimately, nobody's even talking about Ryan Tannehill. So if I'm him, I go off. I pull an Aaron Rodgers. I make y'all hate y'all drafted Will Levis.
Yeah, because if he doesn't come off that contract, he's 16% of the salary cap.
Yeah.
One player.
Seriously.
$36 million.
It's a whole lot of bread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously. It's nice being a quarterback.
I mean, that's why Kevin Byard doesn't want to take a pay cut.
Why would he?
You have a narrow window to make that kind of money, man. And he's taken 2 pay cuts, at least. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Tannehill's contract, Derrick Henry's contract, and Kevin Byard's contract, and see if they're all 3 still on this roster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, you want to talk about a hot boy summer. If Ryan Tannehill get cut out to June 1st. Woo!
Yeah, buddy. It's going to be on out this thing.
Because they haven't identified the June 1st cuts yet.
Nope.
So
Do
they
you
get,
extend
they get
them?
2 of them.
If he does have a good year, or Ryan Tannehill's done after 2023?
I think for him to be more cap friendly this year, you have to extend him, right? But then not bring him back. So you just got to figure out what you can eat next year as opposed to what you eat this year.
Yeah,
because he's only got 1 more year here at the most.
He does.
Yeah,
he does. And again, Rand and Vrabel have attached themselves to Will Levis this year, man. If he shows and proves well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Ramon, Kayla, Will, weekday morning 6 to 10. Thank you, Big Savager.
Appreciate it, Savage.
Yes, indeed, gents.
All right, there he is, at Ramon Foster on Twitter. When we come back, there's a high school story about a school that had to forfeit a baseball game, which ended their season. I'll tell you about that next. 3HL 1045 The Zone.
Still, I got wings. So good. I mean, good gracious. If you ain't went and tried these wings yet, man, shame on you. Babs don't like when I say that, but she ain't here, so I'm going to say it. Shame on you if you ain't went and tried them wings, man. I'm talking about that won't be your last time trying them. That's for sure. 3961 Nolensville Pike is the location right there in Plaza Mariachi. Also, 123 Ewing Drive, I'm sorry. That's the other location. And now the other location that I've been telling you guys about, grand opening, coming next Wednesday. When? Next Wednesday at 11 o'clock. I'll be there wide-eyed and ready to give me some wings, man. I'm letting you know right now. You need to meet me there, Midtown Foods. That's where it is, right behind Martin Luther King High School. You can't miss it. It looks like a big green building. You pick it up. You order, pick it up, and go. It's that simple. Not sitting there eating, but you can go get the Ron Slater right there, sweet and sassy lemon pepper Cajun ranch fries with the cheese melted all on top. You can get that. Still, I got wings.
You spend valuable time thinking about which bets to place each week, so why wouldn't you want the best company in the business to be the one that handles those bets? Superbook Sports, the most trusted name in Las Vegas. And it's live now, right here in Tennessee for all of your sports wagering needs. Superbook has a team of dedicated odds makers behind the counter in Las Vegas, setting all of their prices. We're talking about guys with decades of experience, showing you why Superbook has the best odds around. And right now, you can look ahead to all of these hockey and basketball games and series. You can pick winners of games, series, championships, all of it. Download the Superbook Sports app. It's that easy. Download the Superbook Sports app or visit superbook.com to wager and win today. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. 3 AHL. Crazy story from MainStreetMediaTN.com.
What they talking about on
Hate
that,
this, man. Math will always get you, bro. It'll always get you.
I don't mess with it. What's up?
Ensworth's baseball season ends with forfeit due to pitch count violation against Father Ryan. Tyler Palmatier from Main Street, Nashville, wrote this. Ensworth's baseball season ended Thursday when the Tigers were required to forfeit a tournament elimination game after it was determined that Tigers pitcher and Vanderbilt commit Connor Cobb exceeded the TSSAA mandated pitch count against Father Ryan on Wednesday. Ensworth trailed the best-of-3 series 1-0 before defeating Father Ryan in Game 2 5-0 behind Cobb's big performance. Check this out. Cobb threw a no-hitter with 16 strikeouts in 7 innings.
Well, guess what? One thing about it, the season's over. That man threw he threw a no-hitter.
How about that?
I'm taking that one.
Out of 21 outs, 16 strikeouts.
That's impressive. Where's he going again?
Vanderbilt.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. and look, I'll be honest, he may not even go to Vandy because he may get drafted if he's that good.
Yeah, sometime after the game, it was discovered that Cobb, a junior, had thrown 121 pitches, which is one more than the maximum of 120. So, and it's funny because, like, in the high school baseball world, you've got multiple people keeping up with pitch count because that's an important. I mean, that's
tough.
Thing.
That's a tough blow right there.
So the TSSAA confirmed that Ensworth coach Jason Maxwell self-reported the violation of 121 pitches Thursday morning to TSSAA Assistant Executive Director Gene Maniz, who oversees baseball. The TSSAA penalty for a first-time pitch count violation is a forfeit, which unfortunately was an elimination game, a $50 fine, and a 1-game suspension for the team's head coach.
Oh, come on.
Can't you just pay more and just not forfeit?
The game,
That's $50.
Right.
We'll do a car wash.
I just bet that on Superbook.
Yeah, we'll do a car wash.
Do a car wash. 5 cars.
Here's $2,500. Can we still play?
Yeah, can we just go ahead and move on?
You know, the funny thing is, like, if I'm Father Ryan, I'd be like, yeah, let him play. Let's play game 3.
Mm-hmm.
Let's settle this on the field.
Or Father Ryan can be like, let's move on.
Well, I mean,
we advance.
Yeah. Right. Game 3 was going to be at Ensworth. Yeah, so 120 max pitch count. So that's a tough story.
That is. You know what I'm over here doing, Euro?
What are you doing?
Getting my parlay together. And I think it's about ready to roll.
Hang on. Steven asked, how much is the cap hit if Tannehill is cut? The dead money for Tannehill is 18 something. So they would still be on the hook for that, but that's not 36. But then he's also not on the roster. And then I don't know what the June 1st, you get 2 post-June 1st cuts where some of that is alleviated, and I'll have to look that up. All right. What you got?
Oh, I can't tell you that.
No, we have to wait for afterwards.
Yeah, everybody got to pay attention.
You got to log into Zone TV and watch afterwards.
Yep, that's exactly right. I had a shout out. And let me go on and say this, though.
Shout out. We never came back to your shout out.
I forgot who it was to, though.
Because the first time in show history, Brent told you no.
He sure did.
He said you can't admit. Hold on.
Yep. And I forgot all about it. I can't think. I thought I wrote it down, but I didn't.
So Unc and them down the street are going to be mad at me.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
Might lose some sponsorships. I do got a liner, though.
You do have a liner.
Mm-hmm. That's perfect. That's perfect right there, huh? Who's it brought to you, Joel? Brought to you by?
The liners are brought to you by your mom and them.
That's right. Shout out to the mom and them. The after party is going down. Here we go.
Hold up. You're actually doing that? Whoa.
You like that?
That is my gig.
Oh, that's right. My bad, huh? Cut it off. Cut that off. Yeah, that's my bad.
That is my gig.
I got into a zone. I was thinking like, okay, we only got
I thought you were about to talk about the install with Greg Cosell. I thought you was about to go over that again.
I thought he did that when we were with
You
Greg.
did. That's why I was so confused because we already talked about it, which I thought maybe you'd wanted to throw it out again.
No. I don't want to throw it
to
again.
do multiple
that was good, huh? Thank you.
I got a few jobs here.
Almost 500,000 people expected in downtown Nashville for these 3 Taylor Swift shows.
Yeah.
So Mayor John Cooper said this: over the last several months, cities nationwide have been welcoming Taylor Swift into their backyards. But here in Nashville, we have the distinct honor of being able to welcome her back to her own backyard. So they had a proclamation. In addition to the proclamation, the city also installed a park bench in Centennial Park with a plaque reading "For Taylor Swift, a bench for you to read on Central Park. Welcome home, Nashville."
They gave her a bench?
Gave the woman a bench. There's a reason.
That's an honor.
There's a reason.
Well, okay.
I would want a bench. If I could have a bench, and I don't even like Centennial Park. Like the Parthenon can go away for all I care, but which I know irritates a lot of people.
How many times you think Taylor going to be over there on that bench?
Centennial Park's awesome, but the Parthenon can, like.
No, don't you dare. I love the
Depends
Parthenon.
on how many more first dates she wants to go on.
No, I love Athena in there.
Is Athena still in there?
I got to go in there and check.
I'm sure she's hanging out.
I don't know how you would get her out of there.
She's bigger than the building almost.
I don't think she can just like walk right out or anything.
Most people in Nashville don't even
Can't
know
duck.
what's inside the Parthenon.
That's a problem. Everybody need to venture. I'm going in there this weekend.
Okay.
No, they're
You can
doing
go-
something over there. I can't do
You
nothing.
can go feed the ducks.
I love just go feed the ducks. Do you give Hey, do y'all did y'all used to give the ducks molded bread?
Well, yeah, isn't that what you're supposed to do?
No, dude.
You wait for the bread to go old, then you go, "Oh, this is our opportunity.
Isn't
We
that
go
gonna-
take the kids to feed the ducks."
Isn't that going to explode their stomach or something?
Oh,
I thought that was pigeons.
That's rice.
I thought it
Food
was pigeons.
is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
rice.
Who's feeding pigeons?
The old man in Central Park, just sitting there throwing it out.
So they
The
just
pigeon
all
lady on
explode?
Home Alone 2.
Yeah, that's it.
Or is it doves at weddings that rice kills them?
Oh, yeah, doves. Doves,
it explodes their heart.
What?
Yeah.
Hard tiny too.
Well, it's easier.
Not as many rice seeds.
Hey, boy.
Who's feeding pigeons?
Yeah, that don't nobody need to be feeding them.
Here's the reason for the park bench. It's a reference to her song Invisible String, which was featured on her 2020 album Folklore. In the track, Swift sings, "Green was the color of the grass where I used to read at Centennial Park. I used to think I would meet somebody there."
Oh, okay, that's a line in the song. Okay, Taylor.
So now she has a bench to go sit on. She can meet somebody.
You know what?
Is she
though?
dating anybody now?
I'm sure she's got a new album. It's got to come out. She's got to date a few people.
No, she gets the albums
That's
on
what she
breakups.
does.
No, it's on breakups.
Yeah, but
Does
she has
she?
to start dating them to break up so that she could write
True.
the songs.
I'm going to tell you this, though. A lot of y'all think Taylor Swift can't sing and all this crap. I'm telling you, that woman is a genius. She connects with an audience better than maybe almost anyone ever. It's amazing.
Anybody?
She's in the group, whatever that group is.
Wherever that group is.
I mean, we connect with the audience pretty well, don't we?
Oh, yep. I left one of the parslays out.
Your sound effects today have just been random. And the thing that you almost said about the sex hotel.
Yeah, that was gonna be wild.
May 15th, 1990. Blue Jays lost 4-3.
Yeah, look it up, kids.
Shame
You've
on
got
that.
homework. All right, coming up tomorrow, hopefully, unless he heard today's show, Titans President and CEO Bert Nihill will be in studio at 3:20 p.m.
Probably like I'm done with that.
That's coming up tomorrow.
Oh, we missed all the baseball parlays. Y'all better stay tuned on Zone TV.
Stay tuned on Zone TV. All right, I got it tomorrow. Love y'all. Good night. God bless.
See ya.
After party brought to you by Awaken 180 Sleigh.
Wow, that was a cold. That was a cold exit.
All right, people. Y'all did it. You made it. You made it to the end. And now you get your big reward, people. The reward is the Parslay. Brought to you by Superbook, y'all.
I know you're upset that you didn't get any of the baseball in.
I know, man. I
But you
missed
do-
that one.
You do have the NBA tonight, and you do have some NHL
Oh,
opportunities.
I got it ready for him.
So people need to listen up,
Mm-hmm.
and then they need to, if you haven't already, download the Superbook Sports app or visit superbook.com to wager and win today. Slay, what you got for the good
Okay, so
people
let me
today?
tell y'all right now what I got. And I'm checking